TopLobsta Productions.
In the shadows of the ancient ones, they never went away. They're still here today.
Nephilim Death Squad. When the last trumpet sounds and the heavens crack, plop, 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 plop. Nephilim Death Squad. Nephilim Death Squad. Death Squad. Death Squad. Death Squad.
Nancy, we saw you. We saw you come in before the show started, and,
saw
and
her
we
face.
saw that your camera was on, Nancy.
We saw her
Cat's
face.
out of the bag. I've seen your whole apartment,
left
Nancy.
again.
She left again. Guys, very exciting episode today. This is going to be a departure from the normal Nephilim Death Squad, and we are going to begin. This is part 1 of the Mother Horse Eyes review, which, good God. Anybody got a over-under on how many parts it's going to be?
Probably 60 parts.
It could be 60 parts.
Matt has no idea that what he's just signed up for.
Yeah, Matt's joined us today, and he's been wanting to come on the show. We invited him yesterday. He declined.
Stop it.
He declined. And I said, you know what, Matt? We could have a show today. Let's do a show today. And he said, okay, cool. I'll make some time for it. And
Here we are.
so he has no idea what he's getting into. Some of the audience doesn't know what they're getting into because this series was something that we put out there. I wonder, let's see, I could look at the Spotify real quick and see when this was.
Oh, I got it here.
June 19th, 2025. It's been nearly a full year since this show, Mother Horse Eyes, has been posted to our channel. And it was, I mean, it's exhilarating. I love the series. The audience fell in love with it. And then we kind of just kicked the ball around on doing a review for a fucking year. And this morning, spontaneously, we decided, screw it, let's do it.
Well, you're not going to tell the truth of what happened this morning?
What happened this morning?
We were supposed to do another show and then we didn't.
Right.
Right.
Things came up. So
Nothing came up.
no, that's not true.
We bailed. We want to do this series so hard.
Yeah, dude. I've
gonna
been
do it.
listening to it, and I think I have a little bit over 2 hours left. And I'm getting sad that I'm coming to the end. Mm-hmm. Now I'm happy that I get to start it with you guys. And I'm also happy that Matt gets to be exposed to it because he doesn't know what the fuck he's in for.
I got a bad feeling, though, to be totally honest. I saw the thumbnail. I don't know. Something feels a little Sketchosaurus Rex about this, but we'll see.
It's a demonic-looking thumbnail, but it was created by demons.
But whatever it is, for you to beg me to come back on the show, it's got to be good, dude.
That's not a word
It's
that I
gotta
would
be
use to
something
describe
good.
how this process went. But I'll allow it.
Okay.
All right, so this is what we're going to do, guys. This is
So I think the important part to nail here is that Matt has no clue what this is about. This is not in his wheelhouse.
I would like to hear, Matt, if you could say, just based off of the thumbnail and the name, do you have like an idea of what this will be about?
It's definitely got some demonic. It's stories, because you guys keep talking about it's like a bunch of stories.
Mm-hmm.
What's the over-under for the story? So it's basically just chronicles. It's like people
Kinda?
telling crazy stories. There's a horse with like a bunch of eyes on it. The flies are involved. Is it the same thing you have the shirt for?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what I know. I just named everything I know.
That wasn't so much of a guess of what it would be about as much as a listing of the elements you're aware of, which is fine. You wouldn't have gotten it anyway. And to be perfectly honest,
Yes, it's creepypasta. Are you aware of creepypasta? Mm-mm. Okay, perfect.
Nancy's having some trouble. She keeps entering and leaving and entering and leaving.
Does she know we can see her though?
Did she know that we could see? I told her we could see.
Yeah,
her,
that's why
her camera
I didn't
was
realize
on.
she looked like that. I knew it was Japanese, but I didn't know it was like that kind of Japanese.
It's actually pronounced Rapanese. Hey,
Huh.
Nancy.
Hi.
Are you excited for the review of Mother Horse Eyes?
Yep.
Have you listened to this, Nancy?
Part of it.
Oh man, filled with charisma today.
Yes.
It's gonna be a good day.
Nancy on fire.
Are we ready to start this up?
Yeah, I
I'm
guess
back.
there's no better way. Oh, Nancy says hello. Did you hear that? To you, Matt.
Hey, Nance. Good to see you again.
We did see you. You do know that when you first came in, your camera was on, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was sitting
But
cross-legged
you
and
could-
just a bunch of boiling pots of water around her. It was
All around
bizarre.
her.
That was
No
strange.
fire though. No stovetops. Just boiling water. I don't know how she did it.
I wouldn't worry about it.
The best way to do this is just to get into it. So, so I guess without further ado, let's start this series.
Here we go. Guys, can you hear this? Can you hear that,
Yeah,
Nancy?
guys. Can you hear that, Nance? Did you hear any of that?
It sounds like a dryer going.
That's just electronic 80s music. Hold on, wait, what's going on? Top, bring it up real quick, see if it's...
It should be playing.
I'm not
Nobody
hearing
can
anything.
hear anything.
That's okay. I have it over here. I'm getting a lot of nope. It looks like
No. That's delayed though. You just started to hear it now. The MKUltra acid experiments.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing anybody reciprocating.
No, we
it's not
can't hear
instant.
it.
Okay, we can't hear anything. So it might just be a plug-in issue. I have mine, and I can share my screen.
So we're not watching a movie. It's somebody talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's like not
telling
something that I
stories?
would typically give a shit about, and
Yes.
it's so good that I do give a shit about it. So let's share mine and remove the thing.
It's
Okay,
story
here we go.
time.
It's story time. I'm sorry,
Everybody
guys.
sit down and shut the fuck
Shut up. No talking.
We'll try this again. Here we
Keep
go.
the camera off my face, Top, because I got a feeling I'm going to be doing some crazy
And
faces.
and Nancy, if you can hear it, chime in immediately so we know.
we can
Yeah, it's loud.
All right.
I don't
Really
know what to tell you
loud.
about that.
Did she just sound like she was
Oh, wait, I
like
can fix
inhaling
that.
something
I just
when she
adjusted
said,
it on
"Yeah,
my
you
end."
can hear it." It's loud.
All right, here it's about to start. There's a long
You
delay.
think Nancy's smoking?
Maybe like bong tokes or something. I don't know.
No, Nancy doesn't.
Is that what all the water's for, Nance?
Because it could be.
She's boiling her bongs. That's how you clean them.
Hmm.
Makes your house stink.
Coffee.
In
Okay,
the
I respect
MKUltra
that.
experiments, the CIA dosed unwitting subjects
I can
with
hear it.
LSD to see how they would react. What has not yet come to light is that MKUltra was an intra-agency project. The CIA created new departments within the CIA and fed them steady doses of LSD and other psychoactives to see how the departments would diverge and mutate away from normal departments.
You can turn up hours.
Whole projects and hierarchies were
They're saying
created,
to me.
Oh, turn it up.
with
Okay.
everybody involved being more or less unwittingly under the influences of LSD. This is how the restraint bed portals and flesh interfaces were created, i.e. from a heavy psycho-mutated hierarchy. The entire thing had to be eliminated, but the technology it created has been revolutionary. In Vietnam, the US government tried to pacify the country village by village using the strategic Hamlet Project, basically creating villages where there was no or little Viet Cong influence. They tried more extreme experiments where they completely isolated villages or groups of villages, allowing absolutely nobody to enter or exit for periods of up to 4 years. In some of the villages, people simply starved to death. In other, more self-sufficient villages, the people managed to scrape by. It was noted that in many of the villages where this technique was tried, messianic or millenarian movements sprang up. In 16 separate incidences, villages were able to independently invent flesh interfaces and non-electrical portals, and it was surmised that these villages were being collectively dosed with LSD for long periods of time, and their intellectual mutations allowed for these advances. The flesh interfaces were eventually destroyed by the North Vietnamese army at a terrible cost in life. I'm surprised they used nuclear subs in the Falklands, considering the battle's proximity to the Undersea incident zone surrounding the so-called Artigas portal. As I understand it, the portal was opened because of experiments taking place in the CIA's Antarctic station in the early 80s, and Falklands quickly became a center for portal research. Being underwater, the portal had an enormous incident zone, and segmented whales and other undersea debris would regularly wash up on the island's shores. They found one whale that had been segmented cleanly in half by an incident
It's quiet. The audience can hear it. Turn up our monitor.
Okay.
Please.
zone disturbance, proving a perfect cross-section of the creature. They also found hundreds of the chitinous cruciform creatures, certainly non-terrestrial in origin. Anyways, if a nuclear sub had wandered into the incident zone, it would have been disastrous. But I guess they considered the risk acceptable. The Soviets designed large portions of the Ukraine's countryside as harvest populations. Basically, their food and water supplies were dosed with LSD until they had achieved what the Soviets called integration. This meant that the local populations had independently invented flesh interfaces. The Soviet army would then quarantine the area and try to remove the flesh interfaces for their own use.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. And we're going to try to unpack a little bit of this because this first segment is a little bit longer than I anticipated. Also, very, just for the audience's sake, we had like a crowd of people move through the studio as soon as that happened. So I actually don't know what the fuck is going on at all. Top was not even here for half of it, and you know, Matt, have you caught any of it?
No. Well, can I ask questions? I just
Absolutely,
don't want you to,
absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
So what? So is this like a real story, or this is a guy just telling a story, or is this on Netflix? Is this on Spotify? Like, what is this? Is he telling the story of something that did happen, or is this like fairy tale stuff?
It's a story of a guy. He wrote this story, and I think it's up to us. It's up to you to determine if it's real or not.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So he took liberty to write a fiction thing that would make people be like, "Wait a minute, bro, is this actually fiction?"
He tells you how it came about. It comes about from his LSD experiences.
Huh?
Yeah. Now, this story is interesting because it's put on Reddit in chapters, and I think there's like 20 chapters. And he's putting them in different subreddit forums. So none of them, it's not
Reddit
like...
is just Twitter, but different.
Reddit is like
a
you got a place to
forum
talk about
page.
cars. You got a place to talk about horses. You got a place to talk about, you know,
MKUltra.
fruit gardens, whatever, like, you know, things like that. For every possible thing you might be interested in, there is a subreddit. And this
Okay.
guy goes and you know, posts a chunk of the story here, a chunk of the story there, and a chunk of the story here.
And people are like following it out throughout a year or so.
Is this guy like a famous guy, or no? He's
We don't know who
only
he is.
known from doing this.
No, he's not even really known from doing this. He's anonymous.
We don't know who it is.
The problem with the story, because I see some people saying Atma says it's a fiction thing, other people say it's a creepypasta thing. He flat
Well,
out
Atman says it's a fiction thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
fiction.
In quotes, it connects to so much reality, and including aspects of conspiracy that kind of weren't revealed until 2020, 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and this was written back in 2016. It's got
This was?
yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it coming out now?
It's been out for a long time.
It's been out for a long time. It's kind of like this, you know, like
The stuff he was just saying about MKUltra and portals and
Yeah.
whales, if they were there, they'd die. That he said all this in 2016.
2016, yeah.
Probably before. I mean, I assume this
Why
this
are
takes a
you
long
guys
time to
just
write.
finding it right now?
Well, we found it.
found it last year.
It's really not a widely known thing at all. It's super obscure. It's you know, I guess you could call it niche.
Your T-shirt is based on this.
Yeah.
That came out in 2016. You made a T-shirt about it a year ago, and this guy's doing some crazy stuff when he's like dropping this.
Yeah, this
and now
guy-
you guys are like, we should talk about this with more people.
Well, it's because it's one of my favorite pieces of media. I don't really know what to call it. The guy was previously an author and was writing a book. He even goes on to talk about this later on that nobody really gave a shit about once he finally finished it. And then he wrote this thing. So this guy's got some writing chops about him. So it's told really well. The pacing is really great. The storytelling, honestly, is fantastic. And it's just this thing where, I guess I'll spoil a little bit of it. These things that he's telling you are experiences that he had that are effectively other people's lives.
Wait, like Quantum Leap?
I'm not familiar with this. Is that a
So
movie or
Quantum Leap was like the #1 time travel show on USA, like in the 80s.
Okay.
And the dude, Sam, was he the main character, Sam, or no? His buddy
haven't
was
seen it.
Sam. But he would wake up and he would be somebody in somewhere in the timeline, somewhere in a geographic location, and then that would be that show. And then he would do whatever he did with that, and then boom, he'd wake up.
Oh, Sam Beckett. Oh,
Somewhere else.
He'd
wake up like somewhere else. He'd be somebody else. So you're saying this dude's taking acid, and he's like, you don't ever have dreams like this where you're somebody in the dream, but you're supposed to know who, like the other people are talking to you, like you know what's up.
It's going to be, so let's listen to this. It's going to be a lot of that as we move through the stories. You're not going to know right away because it's written. So like nothing is, you're not going to have any visual cues, But when you pay attention to the story, you'll be like, what the fuck is happening here? And then halfway through, you're like, whoa, this is
You
crazy.
guys not know Quantum Leap?
I
dude?
do
That's
know
like-
Quantum Leap from one single episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And it's a musical episode, and it's one of the greatest pieces of fucking...
Quantum Leap crushes, bro.
and he's in that. He makes a cameo. Okay, so here, we'll get back to this.
This was usually without success and with
we
great
turn it
loss
up?
of life.
Like
Many
Tom's
of the
trying to
soldiers
mess
and
with
scientists were segmented, as often happens in an
You can't put it
incident
up on
zone.
your computer
So they
anymore?
ended up with people
No.
missing limbs, cut in half, etc. What's interesting is that the people could live for quite some time despite segmentation. This is what led the Soviets to believe that their missing body parts still existed, albeit in some unknown place. So, one of the leading theories of the time was interdimensionality. Quite mistaken. Dubai probably has the highest rate of free-floating non-interface incidents of any major metropolitan area in the world. In one incident, a large group of migrant workers was segmented in an underground facility. Perfect cross-sectional segmentation along the frontal plane. You could see their lungs working, food being digested, blood pumping on the inside of the heart, everything. They lived for almost 5 months in this condition. Absolutely fascinating to see in person. There was also a group of school children who were very slightly segmented, just ends of fingers and bits of the calves and such. Hardly fatal wounds, yet they all died within 2 months. Some showed signs of intellectual mutation. There are no known flesh interfaces in Dubai.
intellectual mutation.
However, it is surmised that the architecture is actually based on interface geometry and carries some latent interface-like power. Mass segmentations remain one of the most mysterious aspects of the interfaces. They seem to show that the interface do indeed concentrate on flesh, living up to their name. We look at Elizabeth Bathory as an example of pre-LSD enlightenment, i.e. somebody seeming to attempt to build a flesh interface before the invention of LSD. How can this be explained? Perhaps she ingested some ergot or some other naturally occurring psychotropic chemical, or perhaps her mind was simply attuned to whatever intellectual processes need to occur to invent a flesh interface. The Book of Revelations is also considered to be a description of a flesh interface, especially a description of New Jerusalem. My problem with this is that it's all speculative. It's like when modern psychologists diagnose historical figures. I'm uncomfortable with this level of speculation. I will always regard the first instance of a flesh interface to have occurred in Treblinka, 1944. The geologic disturbances, partial tunnels, so-called interdimensionality, and wealth of clearly segmented bodies leave no doubt of its existence. The Soviets have documented this. Basically, when you look at the stories of Elizabeth Bathory's behavior, it seems like she is trying to build a flesh interface. But it is known that in order to invent a flesh interface, one must be under the influence of LSD for extended periods. As LSD hadn't been invented during her life, it probably is just a coincidence. Still a tantalizing theory, though. Obviously, I can't define a flesh interface in terms of purpose or composition or mechanism. I can only list the various phenomena which are related to them. Chief among these is the creation of an incident zone, wherein the objects are spontaneously segmented, i.e., parts of the objects simply disappear, yet the objects continue to behave as if the missing parts are still present. Also, you see complex tunnels created in the earth. These have been termed ant farms. In undersea interfaces, you get chitinous cruciform organisms. These sui generis organisms are thought to be the result on evolutionary processes which took place in an environment other than Earth. This is speculation, but in this case, I agree with it. Then there have been the giant metallic cylinders which appear and experience continuous spontaneous segmentation. These are usually at least 10 meters in diameter and get much larger and only occur in very large interfaces, i.e. portals. Beyond this, the phenomena are too various to mention and different for each interface. Many people think that a portal is simply a large flesh interface. This is true. A portal is a large flesh interface, but it is also more than that. A portal is, as the name implies, a way of sending objects between the portal's site and wherever the various locations that have been found beyond the portals are located, i.e. the so-called alien sister cities. Portals are usually, but not always, accompanied by the large, fluctuating metallic cylinders. The largest above-water portal that I know of occurred in Novaya Zemlya, and existed for several weeks before it was destroyed by the Russian so-called Tsar Bomba. In this case, the metallic cylinders were miles high and covered with features rarely seen on other cylinders: blinking lights, nodules, so-called antennae. They took on a very artificial appearance, i.e., they seemed to be constructed technology rather than naturally occurring phenomena. Are the cylinders themselves artifacts being sent through the portals, or are they phenomena created by the flesh interfaces in the way a mushroom cloud is created by a nuclear explosion? This is unclear. I wish I could show you guys the pictures of the Novaya Zemlya cylinders. They truly were beautiful, rising miles into the clear Arctic sky, like great alien towers, tinged blue by the vastness of the distance involved. Though it was certainly necessary to destroy them, and we owe the Soviets a great debt for their tireless efforts to collapse the interface. I sometimes wish they were still there. At least then, there'd be something, some evidence. In response to what the CIA had accomplished with their Antarctic station in Arcturus, the Soviets built a larger station in Novaya Zemlya in the Arctic. 30,000 prisoners and an exceptionally pure gas concentration created a flesh interface, which went through all 7 stages in less than 13 minutes and became a full-fledged portal. Within a day, the typical fluctuating metallic cylinders were visible, and within 3 days, they were extending miles into the sky. The Soviets quickly realized that the portal was growing out of control. In previous instances, they had simply bombed the site from the air. But in this case, the enormous cylinders and attendant incident zone, extending into the edge of space, prevented this as well as missile strikes. There was also an exceptionally large lateral incident zone around the portal, with segmentation occurring miles out from the site. Alarmed by the zone's uncontrolled growth in the growing underground tunnels, aka ant farms, the Soviets worked feverishly to construct a hydrogen bomb of unprecedented power, which could be detonated from outside the incident zone and still collapse the portal. The steady rate of growth in the incident zone provided them with an exact deadline, which they managed to meet with only 2 hours to spare. Any later, and the bomb could not have been placed so as to collapse the interface. In short, the world came within 2 hours being subjected to an uncontrolled flesh interface, and perhaps the end of civilization as we know it.
Okay, even Atma's saying we gotta pause it.
Okay, there's a lot
happening.
Atma didn't say that. Atma was actually
She just
applauding.
did.
Atma's a guy.
Atma's a guy who's applauding our self-control. So
I talked to Atma on the phone. She's a chick.
that was Atma's wife. Now, what do you think you're
Mrs.
listening
Atma.
to so far?
Okay, a story about something that you have to like listen to for a long time till you understand what's going on. But where I'm losing it is like the portal is, what is he calling it? A flesh what?
Flesh interface.
So how is a portal the same as a flesh interface? I'm guessing like you guys talk about the Greys would be a flesh interface potentially, right?
Yeah,
That it's a
I mean-
meat suit
Yeah.
that a spirit can get into. How is he saying that's the same as a portal? A portal's an opening that you can get from like point A to point B.
Think of a vagina.
Oh, would you call that a flesh interface?
But I wouldn't call it a portal.
Why
No.
not? Stuff comes in and out of it.
Not
Life? You
exactly.
You put stuff in, stuff comes out.
Yeah, life comes out of that.
Yeah, put like forks and peanuts in there, and mice and pine cones come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but something can't come through that end from some other place and come out this end.
Can it?
I mean, technically, I guess but the thing goes in from this end, makes a thing, then it comes out that end.
Well, that's
Sometimes.
a portal doesn't have to be so, obviously two-way. Like that's a very something goes in, something comes out. You think those two things are related?
Yeah, that's what a portal. Like if you the Book of Revelation it says
Stargate.
there was. Yeah, there was a door opened in heaven, and the voice said, "Come up here."
Well,
Like a door, there was a portal. There was, I mean, what else would a portal be for?
no. I don't want to answer these questions, but those are good questions.
Thanks, man.
What about the segmentation thing? Are you picking up on what that is?
No.
Because that's a little bit screwy. So basically what they're saying is in the immediate, like, ground zero of these flesh interfaces, these portals, right? In the immediate area around these portals, a phenomenon is created where things will pass through an unperceivable field of sorts and suddenly become segmented. Like
cut into pieces.
half of these glasses are suddenly
It
gone.
gets chopped off in the portal.
But if it's a living thing, when it passes through, it continues to operate as if the remaining, the body part that is vanished is still there.
There's a precedence for that in the Avengers movie, right? The guys that are like the wizards can open the portal, and then the thing tries to come through the portal, and then he closes it, and it like chops off his arm.
Similar to that, except as if his arm was still there. Like he would still be. And also the docked off section, you would still see blood running. There would be no blood spilling.
That happens in that movie, doesn't it? The arm is like twitching over there, but the guy's like, he just doesn't have
I
an
thought that was
arm.
more of like a spasming thing, but that is true. That does happen.
So it's like that. He's saying it's like that.
Similar. We're going to visit this concept a lot throughout this. And
What are the silos or whatever? What's it called?
That's an interesting thing, yeah.
What's that? They popped up and they were so tall that normally they just bomb them, but they can't bomb them. Like, what's that situation?
I love the language he used, by the way, where he said that this cylinder was, I forgot what he said.
Is this where they're keeping the whales? Is this what he's talking about?
No. But he's saying, like, these cylinders, they'll rise up out of the earth. These metallic cylinders will rise up out of the earth, varying sizes. And this one was so massive in its scale that it was tinted blue with the vastness of the distance.
Yeah.
And I was like he uses these writing mechanisms that I'm a huge fan of. His descriptives are fantastic, and that's one of those that like sticks with me. This thing is so big that it scales off into the distance, and it's colored blue. You know when something's so far away that it's got a bluish hue to it? It looks like it's fading.
Yeah, based on the curvature of the Earth.
I don't know if that's a thing. So yeah. I mean, right now there's no explanation for these elements, but those are the elements that we're dealing with so far. The segmentation that happens in the immediate area of the portal, the flesh interface, this portal being described as a flesh interface is, fascinating, but we don't have an answer for that yet. And the cylinders as well, to the extent that the Soviets bombed one that was so big, it could have created an extinction level event for humanity.
So the Soviets are not liking this. They don't know exactly what's happening.
I don't think anybody's liking it.
I think they're all like screwing around with it. But yeah, they're not.
So it's
they're
like
not having
CERN
success.
vibes. This is like CERN vibes, like something's happening, but
Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good place to start looking. Yeah, like a CERN, the scale of it. But the scale of it is such that it transcends, country borders, nation borders. This is like a all hands on deck type of situation for some of the instances that emerge out of this phenomenon, to the extent where they're like, fuck yeah, Soviets, high five, especially given the time
everybody's
frame.
kind of on the same team. They don't like
It's
it.
like, yeah, maybe get rid of that because it's fucking huge. Atlas says, I love this breakdown so much. If you don't finish, I'm going to kill everyone in Florida.
Hey, you could go to Blue Letter Bible first.
Yeah, please stop there first. This is just really, really, I love this story. We're going to find as we're listening to this that it connects to so much of what we explore here on this show, which I think I saw Sparrow before asked an astute question. How likely is it that this dude just whipped this up and is now sitting back watching retards everywhere believe that it's real? Highly likely, Sparrow. But
but for him to come up with this kind of story is
it's fucking insane.
kind of rad. Whether it's real or fake or whatever, it's just the fact that he came up with it. Is
As
kinda,
we go on, you'll see it accurately ties in science, the Bible.
It's crazy.
History, all kinds of shit.
I think it'd be fun to tell a fiction story based on the Bible that just shows a rad story of a dude doing similar stuff like the miracles and signs and wonders you see in the Bible. Now it's a fiction story. It's like a story you made up, but it would just provoke people's imagination a little bit. Be like, yeah, man, wait a minute.
Well, that's the problem with even this in particular, the writing style and the narrator are incredibly digestible. They make this a pleasant experience. I try to listen to the Bible on audio, and it's got a dude speaking in a fancy old English accent. I'm like, why does
Alexander Wearsby? That's rough.
That's
talking
the guy
in New
that does
King
that.
James.
It's like, dude, don't do that. Honestly, I want to find this guy and be like, can you narrate the Bible, dog?
An hour? Okay.
That's fine. We're
get
gonna be
it
here
going.
for a
Let's
while.
go.
I pay for it.
I'll pay you back.
I sent it.
No, that was a thing that she did because she's being nice. Thank you, Mason.
How much was it?
$28.95.
Holy shit, dude!
What?
In
For
this
what?
economy,
What are you doing?
He's ordering pizza.
Every time.
Large?
I don't, and I'm like, I'm trying to be
Extra
good
cheese?
here.
Okay.
I haven't eaten trash in mad long. I can't lose a fucking
Here, I'll give
pound,
you cash.
dude.
I'll give you cash.
Pay up, buddy.
Pay
Wow.
up,
Everybody, if you
Buttercup.
Bucko. And we can open this too. We're closed. We've been closed. But,
Johnny Cash reading the Bible. That's a good one. Yeah, I hear good things from Sam Tripoli. He does that. Johnny Cash reading the Bible.
Break it and give you the change.
No, you're
Oh,
good.
it's over already.
Thanks for
Thank
doing
God. Can you open that all the way? Just try to get a breeze in here.
He's sweaty and gassy.
It's hot,
today.
dude. I'm not gassy. I haven't made farts.
I know. It's
It
like
could be the weight.
poopy, though.
I haven't lost a single pound.
Hi.
Don't talk to the people,
All right, Mason,
Mason.
you can't do that.
Mason, come on. Don't make that disrespectful noise. This is a very professional and
Don't get him started. on
serious
this. Please Don't get
operation.
him started.
Right.
Goodbye.
bitch.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's like you're in a mood.
He really is. You usually reserve that for Nancy,
I'm
which
all
is
hopped up on
inappropriate.
sport drink. I had
right.
a lot of sport drink.
What
By
is
the
Nancy?
way,
Nancy's
that breeze
showing
is
us a
nice.
thing.
I learned last night, like, don't overdo the sport drink because I have a roller coaster of dreams.
Oh, boy.
This will come into, that's a fascinating, you know what?
It's a
lot of
fan's
these-
interpretation of the.
Oh, and
the
you see
slash
this sort of
center.
art style
Yo,
from
I
a
got a
psychedelic.
Picture like that in Mexico when I was like 19 of some demonic stuff, like very similar to that. I was going deep into Mexico because at the border, the Coronas are like $1. You go a couple blocks more, they're like 75 cents. We got so far down into Mexico, they were like 25-cent Coronas.
Damn.
And weird stuff in the bars, dude.
Well, what's interesting about that is a style that's emulated by a lot of people who do like a psychedelic inspired drawing. And well, as we listen to this story, you'll see why that image is kind of a super relevant. It's
Matt.
interesting that people are having this experience.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you done LSD?
Once or twice.
You didn't see any of that?
Not exactly like that. I used to see like weird purple, gray, white, I don't know, like shapes, almost like pyramid type shape structures, like ancient structures. Maybe that's why I like the ancient structures, man. But made out of like a lot of different stuff.
That's interesting. Geometry, a lot of geometry.
A lot of geometry. A lot of like
that comes into this.
seeing sounds and like hearing colors.
That's the synesthesia that I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's interesting
Right.
because it's almost a perception, and this is just something I'm getting. Spoiler alert: this element comes on later on, but that's a way of perceiving extra dimensional. I guess what would you call that? Experience or something like that. Like if we're in 3 dimensions plus time, and there are indeed other dimensions, when it goes on to talk about some people having a gene that allows them to experience more than 3 dimensions, and that evolutionarily speaking, it's never removed from us because it's harmless. So it does exist in some people. It doesn't work itself out. And when they explain,
Well, that's why DMT is like naturally occurring
Right.
in your body.
I didn't know anything back then, but I had a feeling I was seeing something that was there. I never had a feeling that I was like, oh, I'm just hallucinating and seeing
Yeah, like
things that don't
meaningless
exist.
hallucinations, right.
I always was like, dude, that thing is there. I don't know how to explain it, but it's there.
That's the
And
veil.
it's still
right?
there.
Behind the
Matt.
veil.
Yeah.
Can you get us LSD for Brogrove?
oh my
No,
god!
No.
stop it.
Now we're
Nancy.
if we get anything,
Wait,
we'll get
she's
everybody
still into
salvia.
that?
So
I
that
know.
way, everybody at Bro Grove will do salvia simultaneously, and for 3 minutes we'll all lose our
I
fucking
don't like
minds.
the sound of that.
How
dude.
crazy would that be?
No.
Your boy was explaining it. He's like, yeah,
I've
know,
done
if you're on
salvia.
acid or mushrooms, and it just feels like, you're on planet Earth, and you know who you are, but you're
Salvia
just
is
tripping.
fucking nuts.
He's like, yo, salvia, you might just be a cereal box floating through space. And
Yeah.
You have no clue what's going on.
Salvia, I was on the pages of a book, basically. Like I was in a flat 2-dimensional realm, and it was made up of pharaoh faces, which is a little bit tricky to explain. But
Guys, no drugs at Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
don't do drugs
none.
at Bohemian
None.
Grove. Apparently, people last Bohemian Grove didn't get that memo. Okay,
Nope.
let's,
I was
let's keep
just
going.
kidding.
All right.
Well,
She's like, unless you're into it.
Before the portal was collapsed, however, the Soviets gained first-hand knowledge of one of the so-called sister cities. In other words, somebody had gone into the portal and come back.
That was the end.
That's the end of that one.
We stopped at a weird time.
Yeah, we did. My fault.
Okay, so we already kind of did the.
the breakdown of that.
So
That's
the end of that is just that these flesh interfaces clearly, given the context of it being significant that the Soviets got a glimpse of what's on the other side, it insinuates that like nobody was having success with these things because nobody was coming back.
Yeah.
You're going into these portals,
But not coming back.
not coming back.
Yeah, but maybe you were on the other side. Like, you could come back, but you're like, bro, I'm not going back.
place
This is
fucking
way
crushes.
Yeah.
That is not the case.
No, not the case. at all.
Spoiler alert.
All right. let's
Okay,
keep
I
playing.
looked up for 1 second. Just tell Idaho Hermit no.
ahead.
I looked up for one
All right,
second.
Idaho
What
Hermit
did he
said
say? What did
no.
Idaho?
I have
Say
a ton of
no.
acid been sitting on. No.
That's so funny. You've been sitting on it for years. That's what you do with psychedelics. Yeah, you just sit on them for
Guys,
a while.
have you learned nothing from this show?
Yeah, don't even have those around. You burn them.
I mean, the way that I always say with the show is like, I don't know where you
It's
are.
not beans and rice.
What's not beans and rice? Who said what?
It's stacked away like a prepper.
You never
Keep
know.
them in
If
mason jars
shit
or
hits the
something.
fan, you might want to have an experience, I guess, if you got no electricity. All right, let's go.
I've always found Lisa's dreams to be a good starting place when trying to understand the psychological effects of travel. Lisa was a 9-year-old girl sent through the Groom Lake Interface in 1975. The Groom Lake Interface connects to the so-called Sister City, technically persistent locus, known as the Hanging Temples. She stayed there for 5 days of normal time, but only 48 seconds of beyond time. A marked
that's a
discrepancy.
trippy
That time dilation, yeah.
I like that.
Upon returning, she did not recall anything beyond becoming drowsy for a moment. She slept well that night, and in the morning she recounted a dream to the doctors, before dying later in the day. A direct transcript of the audio from her interview. It was spring, and it had been raining all day, but the rain stopped just before it was going to be sunset, so all the clouds were purpley and the sky was really orange, and the grass was all wet with rain, and there were fireflies all around, like all in the sky, way up in the sky, big ones. And me and my grandma went out to these hills way out past the edge of town, and under the hills, there were people sleeping, not in caves. They were buried under the hills.
Don't the fireflies
People
play a
were-
little bit of a part toward the end, huh?
I don't know if she's describing fireflies. She's saying big ones way high up in the sky. This is from the point of view of a 9-year-old, I believe they said. So I'm not too sure of the language that she's using to describe these things. Right now she's talking about people sleeping, but not in caves under the hills. She's describing dead people. I'm not too sure. You're right over there? Everything okay?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Oh, what happened? She's going to leave.
Yeah, she can't just leave and then we get a pizza delivery and we're on the show.
Damn, so
she's
now
gonna
she's
stay?
just going to make Mason stay?
No, she's going to go pick it up.
Oh,
my
jeez.
God,
She
that's
just-
even
she just turned her
worse.
into a slave.
No, she's a sweet kid, dude.
Mason
We
crushes.
just gave her a lot of cash, too. She's excited.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
She's
that'll
got a
do.
big weekend planned.
So,
up, Mason?
I was gonna say, I'm gonna go see what I can do. I'll be back.
You're the best.
thanks, Mason. So just to catch you up because you were, preoccupied with. No, that's okay.
Well, I just didn't want to
You can have that.
Get effed up. This is a big thing. So sister cities, we got to touch on this, dude, or no? Go ahead.
No, I mean it's a fair question. What do you,
So that's just talking about another city, like in another realm that's just basically overlapped with this realm.
Yeah,
is that
now,
what sister cities are?
I
They're
believe
alien
this kid.
cities, or
This kid is describing it. So right now, what they're saying is there's a 9-year-old who was successfully sent in and came back, and the narrator finds that the most effective, mode of communication about this other place she went to is the girl describing her dreams. And so I guess, what we're dealing with is it's not really dreams. These are like foggy recollections of being on the other side of this flesh interface.
it's like talking to Nancy.
Yes.
Exactly like that.
Although I think if we sent Nancy through, because she's good at lucid dreaming, I think she would have her wits about her. She'd be able to get details.
Yeah.
I don't know if she'd share them with us, though. She seems to be really greedy with the details of these happenings.
Yeah.
And so right now, what she's describing is fireflies, but she's describing them as being really far off in the sky and big ones.
What we would call stars.
Kind of seems like that, although maybe they got a different thing going on in this sister city with stars. And now she's describing people sleeping, but not in caves under a hill. So that's where we left off.
Were asleep, but they were hugging each other. Families, like moms and dads and little kids.
Oh, in the sister
Just pa-
cities.
It would be easy to say the Soviets discovered the secrets of survivable travel.
Now, whatever happens there, we do have like this cut in that. I noticed that. But to me, before it cut there and this jump happened, she was describing dead people holding each other, families holding each other. So some sort of event in this place that she had been to took,
She's in the place of the dead, or those people are dealing with the fact that they have dead loved ones?
It seems like her recollection of being in this sister city, as much as I'm gathering here, is one of, I don't know, it seems like explosions in the sky. She's describing as fireflies, and families huddled together sleeping.
It's like a nuclear event almost.
Could be a nuclear event, could be some sort of a war happening. So, and I guess some of this could be timelines, branches. I don't really like the multiverse shit. I think it's gay, but it seems like that's a plot device that's being used here. This could be an alternate timeline, similar Earth situation, war, dead people, and this little girl's just using what she knows to describe it.
Or it's our reality, but she's just in another time period.
Could be that. There's a lot of time jumping. But he kind of lays that out. Well, I'll let that happen later on, but he lays out exactly what it is he's telling. That's all I'll say for now.
Because they were more ruthless, more willing to sacrifice innocent lives. But there was really no lack of ruthlessness on the part of the CIA. It's really just a matter of approach. The Soviets approached the mystery of the flesh interfaces the same way they approached their space program. The first humans in space, the so-called lost cosmonauts who were never officially acknowledged, were just ordinary people, culled from the gulags, with no more control over their mission than Laika the dog. The Americans, on the other hand, started with professional men, usually from the military. Likewise, when it was discovered that objects and even animals which entered the flesh interfaces occasionally returned unharmed, the Americans began training men to enter the interfaces. Because they culled their men from certain military ranks, they were all of similar ages. The Soviets, however, used prisoners who had a much wider age range, and so they were able to discover the essential correlation. The younger the person was, the more likely they were to survive travel. The longer they would survive after travel. They discovered that 20-somethings were much more likely to survive, albeit in a horribly altered state, than older people. They discovered that people in their early 20s fared better than those in their late 20s. Teenagers fared even better. So, despite all moral compunction, it was really all a matter of time before they sent a child.
Always comes back to
And it was only after the first round of children went through that they gained any idea of what was on the other side. Until we found the village, we had suspected that the detectors were just
Okay, so there's been a jump here. That part is over. So I guess we could discuss it. So what they're describing is them trying to interact with this phenomenon, the flesh interface, and finding, like he said, the younger the subject who's pushed through, the more likely they were going to come back and be able to recollect anything. The older they were, the likelihood of them returning dropped significantly. And in their 20s and 30s, it seems like they come back and they will die pretty rapidly, but not before displaying significant neurological, plus also some physical phenomenon. No rhyme or reason, just chaos. Their mind is chaos. Their body's fucked up. They're just like...
So somewhere earlier it talked about the time was different on the other side.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so what is the trap? Because it's better. The young people do better. Is it because the travel like ages you? Is that why? Because it.
I don't know. Some of these people just die when they come back. Like they do, meaning they do better, meaning they don't come back dead.
Right.
Because they're younger.
And they have their mind about
so
them.
So is it just that
But no,
it's
they don't
aging
age.
you, and that's
No.
why they? Well,
No.
no, maybe not. Like it doesn't look like it aged you.
Could be.
Because
Yeah.
if you're younger, you do okay. It's like, well, you got 100 years.
Right.
So if it ages you 80 years, you're still okay.
If that's the case, there, as far as I can tell through this whole thing, there's no actual tells of them aging significantly. So, they likened it to the space program. The Americans would use military men and send them into space, while the Soviets they're using whatever. They're just sending dudes from the Gulag into space. They don't have a moral hurdle to overcome when it comes to this experimentation. So it seems that the Soviets were the first ones to be like, all right, well, the younger they get, the better it is. Fucking send the kids. And then that's when they actually started to get any sort of descriptive as to what's going on in these.
And we don't have any rhyme or reason yet as to like, okay, they leave, and then how do we know when they're coming back? Or like, what happened? They just appear back? They're just...
Yeah, it's not really been described so far.
Okay.
But that is a wonky element, and that's going to happen later on. So right now, these guys that we're about to listen to, they're on a military excursion. They've been sent out to, seems to be a South Asian island, and they have some device.
Shout out Nancy.
Shout out to Nancy. They have some device. I think this is actually great because I wish I had somebody to guide this as I'm listening to it. They have a device that they've not been made privy to the nature of.
So we're like 15 minutes into this?
15
This
minutes
jumps
in.
right here. This is the end of the one story.
Yes.
We're jumping into another story.
Now we got these military guys, South Asian island, armed with a device they don't understand the nature of. They've just been told.
Chapter 3, Field Encounters and Human
It's kind of like the movie The
Experimentation.
Creator. It's kind of like that. Kind of has the vibes like that.
Not familiar with
Haven't
that one.
seen it, but
Ooh,
yes, I'll
that's
just
a
agree
good
with
one.
you.
You guys would like that one.
What year is that from?
Recent, dude. It was Netflix when you're just doom scrolling the Netflix and then you just hit the thing.
What's
you're
it
like,
called?
yeah,
The
whatever.
Creator?
The Creator.
Is it about a black guy?
No.
2023,
Yeah.
huh?
Actually, I think the main guy is
Yeah,
a black
it is.
dude.
It is. This was fucking. I saw this and it just had Yakub written all over it.
You didn't? Did you watch it?
Fuck no.
No, it crushes, but it's gonna make you like love AI and thinks AI is like a person. That's the
Creator,
whole context behind it.
The most beautiful, terribly written movie I've ever seen, and maybe ever.
No, this movie crushes, bro.
don't
You
know
guys
about all
will
that.
like it. But it's designed to make people love AI and think it's human.
I have a hard time watching anything if the acting isn't. You know what really ruined it for me? We'll get back to this in a second. But like,
From
no,
Them.
It.
Woman.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
The acting was so phenomenal in Game of Thrones. Breaking Bad was another one.
Yeah.
I cannot
You get
subject
spoiled with
myself,
that,
dude. I
yeah.
can't.
No,
man.
the creator's good act. It's like a classy movie. It's not a trashy, like, oh, this is low level, low budget. It's good, dude.
All right, well, maybe I'll check it out. I have to watch.
But it's like Asian islands,
Begonia.
future
Begonia.
vibes.
Watch Begonia.
Gotta watch Begonia first, and
let's
then I'll
listen
watch
to this.
fucking this. Okay, let's get back to it. So remember, military excursion, South Asian island.
Props. Just toys given to us by the CIA guys to reassure us. Nobody trusted the spooks. 3 days through the jungle, and these detectors had not detected a fucking thing.
Whoa.
But before we even saw the first hut, the needles on the detectors started moving in unison. If they were phony toys, it was a cool little special effect. The needles swayed back and forth, and all the little metal boxes let out this spooky sound all in unison, like a school choir. Very weird. We turned them off. As instructed, we treated every Vietnamese as combatants and killed
That's
them all.
Denzel Washington's kid?
There wasn't any resistance, though. A few had weapons, but most were unarmed. None fought back. They didn't even run. They were just sitting around, lazing in the sun. And we shot them where we found them. Grim work, and very weird. That probably spooked us out more than the detectors. It was like they were waiting to die. After clearing the village, we didn't know what to do, so we turned on one of the detectors and wandered around to see what was up. The detector started going nuts all around one of the bigger huts in the middle of the village. We had already cleared it, but we went in again. There was a big altar inside, with candles and Buddhas and gold signs with dink writing and shit. We figured that maybe one of the Buddha statues was setting the detectors off. But no. The hut was very hot and muggy, even by the incredibly humid standards of Vietnam. It was incredibly humid in there. Even the Buddha statues were sweating. Their faces were literally coated with drops of moisture. Everybody noticed that there was something weird going with the air. There was something off about the pressure. So we just tossed everything. picked all the shit up and tossed it out the hut. Sure enough, we picked up the big platform that held the altar. There was something under it. It was a pit made of flesh, maybe 5 feet across and going down about 20 feet before curving out of sight. When I say made of flesh, I mean it looked like the inside of somebody's throat. Wet, reddish flesh-looking stuff. We had heard of them building tunnels, but this was... We really couldn't even understand what we were looking at.
Who was they?
I was just breathing. The flesh kind of rippled, and this hot air came out. And it felt and smelled like somebody breathing right on your face. Enough to make you sick. They told us we would know it when we saw it. Well, we saw it, and we knowed it. We radioed in the coordinates and got the fuck out of there. Encasement was certainly not something.
All right, so that's the end of that one. That's real fun. I like the way this all breaks, this like crescendo, and it doesn't stop. It's such a gradual uptick in revelation. This thing that's revealed to you, and then another thing is revealed to you.
I thought for some reason this was the other story in Vietnam. But
No, that's not Vietnam. I believe that's one of the islands in Japan.
uh-huh.
Your phone's ringing?
I'm
Might
not
be
getting
Mason?
it. No, I'm on
Okay,
the show.
okay,
I'm not
okay.
getting it. Got respect for the show.
Well,
let's
let's see what Matt thinks about that.
Well, no, I just think like the handheld detectors that like measure spirit, that's intriguing because John G. Lake used to talk about that when he used to heal people. He used to say if we had a device that could measure spirit, you would see that the spirit, like his concept of like laying hands was that, yeah, like the spirit of the living God inside you was actually going through. I believe this too. Like people are having a rough time. You guys wouldn't know, but like in the shop, sometimes I'll just put my hand on them because I do believe that too. Like the Holy Spirit lives inside you and it's a tangible presence because like Paul, they used to take handkerchiefs and aprons off Paul.
Yeah.
Put on people and they'd be healed or demons would leave them. There's other example like Peter's shadow. Like you could be saturated with the presence of God, but he always said like if you could measure spirit, if we had a device that could measure spirit, it would be tangible and you could measure that the spirit was like going from one person to another. It's kind of like they have those kind of devices.
I'm almost
today.
certain we've done that at some point. Had a device that measures spirit, probably just never came out to the public for any reason, and then was
think you're
eventually
right.
labeled pseudoscience or whatever.
But I think the spirit realm
You should-
knows. Like
You should lay hands on Raven right now.
No, I'm perfectly fine.
I
why
he
you think
needs
something's wrong with them?
Yeah, I think he
I'm
has
not
a
even
heavy
I'm not even
spirit.
gassy today. No, I don't have. My
Why
spirit
do
is-
people
Touch
say
him.
that about you then?
No, Nancy just wants because she knows that I
Touch
find it
him.
uncomfortable when people touch me. And
Touch him.
No, we don't have to touch him.
Touch him.
How about the statues sweating and putting off the detectors, dude? Because that's a thing too. Is like the idols that throughout Scripture, where it's like, oh, they're just dumb idols. But like Heiser talks about how like, yeah, but they're representative of something else, and those things can take power in those things. So what if like the spirit? Because like this is just a flesh.
Don't
suit.
shake it around like
It's
that.
just a flesh suit. The real me is a spirit inside me,
Sure.
right? So like the same thing. Can those entities take up place in those Buddhas, and that's why they're setting off the detectors. But then, like Panda said, I mean, I looked up for like 1 second.
It's okay.
Looked
You're
up
doing
for
good.
1
You're
second.
doing fine. You can look up at the thing.
It is a vagina. That is what we looked at. Was that the tunnel was a vagina?
Yeah, that's what.
It's like birthing these things right there in that hut.
I don't know how these things show up. If they're
What
showing
things are
up,
those?
The flesh interfaces. I maybe he gets into. I don't remember how they show up, or if they find them and then just start experimenting.
Well, I think that's an interesting angle. The idea that the idol sweating was, but I think it actually had to do with the humidity that's coming. You ever been like around something metal when it's humid out, especially if it's early in the morning?
Condensation.
Yeah,
Dang
and it's
Chinese
like
store.
yeah.
Is it weird when he's like positive to me? He's like, "You're doing great." You're
Well,
doing great."
when you
Does that
draw
make
attention to
weird?
it makes me want to stop.
And nobody likes it though. We want that to stop.
No, I'm just trying to get through this. Okay, so
You're doing great. You're doing great.
I think that
awkward.
I think.
Somebody sent me Trump and Melania. They held hands in the picture, and then they were like pulling the hands apart, and
Yeah.
they're like, "You and Raven on a podcast."
But
Who's Melania? Which one's Melania?
no, I don't want to. I don't want to. So to me, it is interesting that
I think David's Melania.
I don't want to be Melania. I think it's interesting that
I don't want to be a girl.
I don't want to be a girl. The detectors detected it at all because I'm actually trying to go through my mind like the Rolodex of listening to this fucking 10-hour thing twice in a row now. This will be the third time, and I can't give a good reason necessarily. I mean, imagine maybe there's some radioactive, could be just Geiger counters. Said it let out a sound like a choir of children.
Like a pussy singing.
Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that kind of shit.
There's a frequency to this thing. It's
Well, that's
vibrating.
just a Geiger counter does like a click, 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 click. There's another one. It just sounds to me like an alarm, like a howling alarm. But I'm wondering what about the flesh interface? It's probably just radioactive, the presence of radioactive material or something like that. But yeah, it's very spooky that everybody was just laying around waiting to die.
That part's weird. Yeah, we didn't even.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that. He said
He's
it was
just walking
grim.
by killing them.
Yeah, he said it was grim work. They were told to treat the Viet Cong or the Vietnamese. I don't even know if it's necessarily the Viet Cong. It's just Vietnamese hut dwellers as combatants.
So are you picturing those as like normal people? They're just
What
doing
it
their
seemed
day-to-day
like.
life? Or are they like zombie people? Are
No,
they like
he described them as just chilling.
just normal people and they just
He said like
Well,
they were
soldiers
waiting
as
to
well.
die.
Some of them had weapons,
okay.
but they're just sitting there.
not
and
really fighting back. They were just they were like, go ahead and take us out, man.
Whatever happened there, they're like, we're done. We're just like
They were cool with it.
Yeah.
No, and they didn't resist. They didn't run. They were getting killed. He said it was a massacre. He said it was grim work. And he said it was the creepiest part of the whole thing.
Strange.
Not even the flesh interface was as creepy as the fact that these people were sitting around waiting to die.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so we've shifted here. I don't know what this one is going to be. Let's get into it.
Thing we were expecting.
Oh, I know what this is.
It really changed our whole perspective on what exactly was occurring. We thought that the flesh interfaces were just like pipes that went from one location to another, perhaps extra-dimensionally, or by some other magic. But when the first subject came back encased, we realized that... Well, I'm not sure what we realized. We realized, for the 1000th time, in our dealings with the flesh interfaces, that we were dealing with something really beyond us. That's why I called it magic. They were so far beyond our understanding. It was basically like meddling with some kind of black magic. The first subject to come back encased was an 8-year-old girl we had named
All right,
Jingles.
here, we'll take a little
way
breather
to
for a
pause this.
second. Let's try to clear off some
We have
room.
a
Thank you,
pizza.
Mason.
We
You're
have
the
a pizza
best.
delivery, guys.
Wait,
This
can
is
we just put the
awesome.
table right here? Do we have where's the folding?
Oh,
let me-
we do
let me
have a
get that.
folding table. Or the cart, whatever
Mason,
you want
you're
to
the
do.
best.
I know. I know.
You literally are the best.
We should
Thank
make
you.
Mason listen to this. How fun would that be?
No,
You guys listening?
not fun.
Mother horse eyes.
What?
Precisely.
Nothing. No, it wouldn't be a good idea.
No, it wouldn't.
Wait, can you grab us the table? It's like
There's like a folding table. Do you know where that went, Top? The folding desk?
Yeah. I'll get it. Go ahead.
I'll vamp for a little bit. So, Matt, have you heard what they're talking about so far?
You're gonna have to refresh me. As soon as I heard the door.
As soon as you heard the pizza, that was it. So they're basically saying that somebody came back from the flesh interface encased. Oh, why was that thing up on the screen? I know those things.
Yeah, what was Nancy using?
What was that, Nance?
Oh,
Oh, you're
it's
saying
just-
that's what Mason sounds like?
No. No. That's what I assume the choir voices sound like. For some
Yeah.
reason. A bunch of
I
them
think-
going on.
That's kind of what the vibe that I got. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Can you give us trays if you care?
Oh, the little metal trays. Damn, we're just like, this is such a wonderful experience.
Can I just clear this or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's move some stuff around.
You should
gonna
apologize to
throw it.
Mason for calling her
What's
a
that?
bitch.
Oh,
should
no, I didn't
do,
call Mason a bitch.
Somebody bought us some Bibles.
We're not supposed to open them up on the show.
We're not supposed to open or mention them, but I wanted to say thank you.
No,
You
no,
know
no.
who you are.
Thank you
We're
for
gonna
the
put
Bibles.
the pizzas right there.
Wait.
Yeah, you're doing great though. It means a lot to me.
No, I don't have to apologize to Mason. She's been calling me fat for a while now.
She's been
She's not
calling me
wrong.
a puta since the 3rd grade.
I never called you fat yet,
Yeah.
but you called me a bitch.
Well, that's mostly because of your behavior.
What did I do?
Very cool. All right.
You know what you've done. I
What
actually
is-
am really digging the black olives and sausage. That's crazy.
Get it near him. Yeah, he needs
Yeah.
it.
All right, I'll just have this whole thing. Thank you.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Matt's
Daddy.
trying to kill this guy.
No, don't say that, Nance.
Thank you for this food, Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Mason, you're welcome.
Oh yeah, dude.
Mason,
honestly,
you are
Mason
the
did
best.
just
You're
go
welcome.
We
crazy.
appreciate you
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Mason.
Can you
You
put this back on that table over
Do you
there?
have to put it on mute so it doesn't hear the chomping, or
Thank you. No, it's fine. Chomp away.
just don't want to get yelled at?
Imagine I dropped it on your head.
Yeah, we'll mute. We can put it on.
It
mute.
is crazy. I've been I go to the gym 5 days a week, and I've not lost a single pound.
We can tell.
I know. I can tell. I can tell because I step on the scale.
You want some?
I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't eat pizza. That's why I
All
didn't
right.
know what size
She
to
eats
get.
fucking
I don't
Lunchables.
eat pizza. I don't know. I didn't know what size to get.
Listen, people don't know.
That
Mason
really
comes
was
in
super
here
sweet to do that. I
with little
appreciate it a
tiny
lot.
cubed cheese and like
Okay.
pepperonis,
peanut butter,
peanut butter.
carrots, the little baby ones.
It's literally the stuff that I pack for like my son's lunch.
Yeah.
I used to. Now he's 10. I don't do that anymore.
When they go out to eat, she gets mac and cheese or chicken nuggets. That's it.
Is that true?
Or only cheese quesadillas.
Cheese case? That's just cheese
It's like
and bread.
baby food.
Only cheese.
So that's basically pizza.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
All right.
that's pizza.
Well,
And
I
then
guess there's
they're
no
like,
sauce
have you
involved.
tried the white pizza? And I'm like, no, I don't do the white pizza.
All
I
right.
don't like it.
Wait, one more favor, Mason. On the metal table, there's a skinny roll of paper towels. It's almost empty. You bring that?
Wow,
Thank you
this
so
is
much.
like
This
top
is
class
wonderful.
service. It's
This is
incredible.
also top class content.
Yes.
Thank
All
you.
right, start it up,
Anything
David.
else? You ladies
the
need
best.
whoops.
No, you're the best. Thanks, Mason.
Which camera is it?
Anybody need
Oh, this one.
Go ahead, put your hand in front of that. Your bird claw. Go ahead, yeah. Show people how those work.
Have we determined what she's gonna be dressed up as for Bro Grove?
I think a blue avian. Don't do that. What was that? A
Boobs
blue.
and butt.
No, don't do boobs and butt.
Nathan, that's
Boobs-
inappropriate.
You know who taught me that?
Who taught you that?
Look at me, Matt. Look at
Do you
me.
know Milk Lemonade round the corner
She
fudge
is
is
not
made?
like that.
She taught
She
me
did
that.
not.
She taught me. Yeah, she did.
Okay,
Sorry,
we have to
I'm
start.
blocked.
We have to start.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it a lot.
So some of the people, the subjects, are coming back encased.
In what?
Well, then that's all. We'll get there. Oh, you didn't bring this on the fucking thing, you fucking ninny.
This was done by the
I
The
brought it
first
back in
subject
case
to
I-
come back encased was an 8-year-old girl we had named Jingles.
Jingles?
We started naming the kids dog names to try to depersonalize them, to assuage the guilt. This was done by the recommendation of the CIA psychiatrist, but it didn't work very well. We all still felt like shit. But what choice did we have? Could we just ignore the flesh interfaces and not study them? Perhaps. But you must realize that the Soviets were also studying them. That changed the whole equation. If they, well, the ethical issues have been debated to death. What's done is done. We dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. We gave those blankets to the Indians. We sent those kids through those portals. Now it's all just a part of history. Anyways, we sent Jingles into the flesh interface, and an object returned 2 minutes later, which is a pretty long time for an interface. It was a large, organic sac lined with veins, vaguely resembling a human lung, about 4 feet long. We x-rayed it and saw the skeleton inside and cut it open. Sure enough, Jingles was inside, naked and covered with blood, with no hair on her head. There was an umbilical cord attached to her belly button, which was attached as some sort of placenta. We had a problem with the surgeons trying to harm her. It was later realized that her blood, its blood, the blood from the sac, had high concentrations of an exotic LSD analog. It was getting absorbed through the skin. The placenta was like an LSD factory, pumping out millions of doses. This particular blend made people pretty violent, so we had to put on containment suits. Jingle's skin was flawless, like a newborn's. No wrinkles on the back of her neck, no wrinkles on her palms except the major ones. She had the form of an 8-year-old girl, but seemed a lot newer. We did MRIs on her bone plates and found that they were highly underdeveloped. as if she was a newborn. We wondered, is this really Jingles or some kind of clone? What sort of apparatus could have possibly produced this clone, and why? After a day of observation, she awoke. We weren't sure if her mind was still there. Perhaps she had been wiped clean. So we waited, asking her questions. At first, her behavior was like that of an infant, just smiling and gurgling and clasping her hands. It was pretty eerie seeing that kind of behavior from an 8-year-old girl. Really, it was pretty eerie looking at her at all. Her skin was so pure and glowing. She looked like an absolute angel. Anyways. After a while, she started babbling, saying little phrases in a matter of hours. She seemed to progress through the various stages of development. Her sentence structure and awareness becoming more and more sophisticated. As soon as she could understand sentences, we started questioning her again. Who was she? She said her name. She knew her past. This wasn't just a blank clone. This may or may not have been the original girl. But she seemed to have the same mind as the original. So then we asked her the question that we wanted to know. The question that had plagued us for years. The question that had led us, in the face of all humanity and morality, to send a child into a living apparatus of death. What did you see? What's on the other side? Her expression grew thoughtful. She was such a thoughtful, bright girl. We chose her for her intelligence. So young and bright, and we just threw her. Anyways, she thought about the question, and it seemed then that we would finally get an answer. A real answer. I remember the sense of anticipation in the room. It was like nothing I've ever felt before or since. Remember, I quit the program that day. I was never able to question another subject. Anyways, she said to us, inside the chamber, I started to feel drowsy. Then everything changed. And I knew what I saw. I had seen it before. I said to myself, this is like the room in Grammy's house. The quiet room. We asked her what she meant by this. She replied with these words. Her final words before she simply stopped living and sat there dead with her eyes still on us. She said, "Come unto these yellow sands."
Man.
What?
All right. So, yeah, Pandafly says the Yellow Sands quote is from Shakespeare's The Tempest.
Yes. Sung by the spirit of Ariel.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, though. The Little Mermaid?
No. I don't even
It has to
remember.
do with frequency.
Don't do that.
You think so? Or are you just saying shit?
No, I know that's your thing. Anytime it comes to that kind of thing, you're like, yeah, it's frequency.
No, I don't think so.
So, I guess that one seemed pretty easy to follow, but we'll just do a recap of it. 8-year-old girl comes back from the flesh interface, the vaginal tunnel, in an embryonic sac. And the embryonic sac seems to be generating LSD. LSD is a major component of this entire thing. In fact, it makes you, after listening to it, question the origins of LSD. It was created by the Swedes, but how did they synthesize it?
Wait, in this movie or whatever this is that we're doing, it was made by the Swedes, or you're saying?
Yeah, it's generated in reality too.
In
it
reality,
was created
it's made
by
by
a
the
Swedish
Swedes?
scientist. Yeah.
Wasn't it like a mold on bread or something?
No, that's ergot,
Yeah.
which yields a similar effect supposedly. I don't know how true that actually is, but that's something that crops used to die by. It's a type of mold and if it was bad that season, ergot could take out, your entire yield. I'm sorry. Did I say? Is there a difference between this? Yeah, Swedes and Swiss. My mistake. It's actually Swiss. So anyway, the sac generates LSD effectively, but a variety that makes people hyper violent. So they were having issues. The people that were trying to get her out of the embryonic sac, the medical personnel, were becoming violent, wanting to hurt her.
They were tripping as they were just trying to get her out. Like the people on the fentanyl, if the people try to resuscitate him and they die, it's almost like
like when they kneel on their neck.
Yep.
Is that what you?
That's a little much.
that what
Okay,
you're
but
talking
what about the fact that there's like the CIA psychiatrist was like giving him advice of like how to? I think it was when they started naming them like dog names. So
That's
there's
crazy,
a CIA
yeah.
team, American, I guess.
Yep.
And there's a Soviet team, and they're both kind of dealing with this. And
Seems
the
that
people
way.
go away not in a sack, and they come back in a sack
In a sack.
filled with
and-
LSD.
So you got to also remember, like the narrator of this story, they're gonna skip another story, but he'll come back. So this dude's working there, but he quits after this. What's
Yeah.
that? 3, 4,
6, maybe, I don't know, 7.
Oh my gosh.
6, 7.
6, 7?
So 6, 7 slices of fucking pizza. Yeah, so she comes back somehow de-aged in a
So
way.
is she Jingles or is she a clone or something that came back? Because we don't really know, right? But
That's not
she's-
something I'm gonna do. I don't want to.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But she comes back, she's like a baby, and then she slowly
she's still an
starts to
8-year-old.
learn and remember.
Yeah, anatomically speaking, she's an 8-year-old, but somehow newer. And they did MRIs on her bone plates, and they were like that of a newborn's. But, the size.
And she was kind of like goo goo gaga at first, right? They said that she was just like making noises, and then
Yeah.
she slowly remembered her own life.
And then once she
Maybe.
remembers, then she dies. Like,
So she does die at the
She
end.
dies with her eyes open. Like the way he described it was she just stops living.
She just says, "Come to the yellow sands," and then boom.
And that's it. As if just sitting right there, still staring at them, but
That's
now
a
no longer alive.
Stegosaurus Rex.
Yeah. Yep. But that's a haunting little detail, much like the other one that was given. So this detail that I'm referencing is to dehumanize them and call them animal names. That's so close to what feels like reality.
yep.
Some of these details are what really make me feel like I don't know how much of this is real. It feels like a lot of it. The other one is the way that they described when they went into the tent of the Viet Congs and they removed the altar and they saw the flesh interface, the hot air that was coming out of it, like it was breathing on your face, and he makes it sound disgusting. And that element appears in other people's stories throughout this, this bigger story, but like the fucking air that's coming out of this thing is like if an animal with a gigantic gaping vagina that it breathed through was breathing on your fucking face.
Yeah.
Like that's horrifying.
I don't like the sound of that.
No.
Let's play the next one.
Play it.
In explaining our cruelty, which I admit
Top, you want
was
another
quite
pizza?
beyond the scope of all humanity, I feel I must remind you of how we lost the war. We lost the war in the cruelest way imaginable. Island after island fell, and the enemy drew closer and closer. More and more bombs fell on our cities. Food grew more and more scarce. People starved. House burned, people burned, children burned. We were punished by our own sense of dignity, by our own inability to admit inevitable and total defeat. It was like watching a sword slowly being sunk into your chest, millimeter by millimeter. But you refused to cry out, refused to whimper or beg for mercy. And there is nothing you can do but watch the metal disappear into your weeping flesh. By the end of 1944, it was clear that both Japan and Germany were doomed, barring some divine intervention. Yet the stories we knew from childhood told us that we had been saved by divine intervention before, when the fleets of Kublai Khan were at our shores, moving from island to island, conquering and raping, until a miraculous typhoon sent their ships to the bottom of the ocean. Though we were modern men and trained in Western science, we still believed that there was some sacred destiny in store for the Japanese people, and we kept an eye out for something, anything, which hinted of the divine. Two intriguing pieces of news had come to us via Germany, develops which suggested that perhaps the tide of war could turn suddenly. However, both were ominous. One was that America was developing a superweapon, a bomb which could level entire cities, which used the latent power of the atom, unleashing the very forces which held existence together. We assured ourselves that this was American propaganda, that no such weapon actually existed. But our scientists acknowledged that it was theoretically possible. The second piece of the news was more puzzling. It was said that a Swiss scientist had synthesized a chemical, which, like the American nuclear technology, could unleash latent forces. This time, the forces of the mind. This chemical was said to fuse the various disparate areas of the mind and allow for incredible insights. Apparently, teams working under the influence of this chemical for long periods of time were capable of inventing techniques and devices previously unheard of. By the end of 1944, various high-ranking Germans were slipping out of Germany, like rats from a sinking ship, often trying to fund their escapes by selling various pieces of artwork, technology, intelligence, etc. It was from one of these that we obtained an enormous supply of this wonder chemical, LSD, which was supposed to be secret even from Germany's allies. Along with the chemical, we were given a piece of news.
Yeah, so this is like they're describing Operation Paperclip.
Mm-hmm.
They're describing everything that happens in 1947 after in America. Actually, it's interesting because Andrija Puharich's son was just on Danny Jones. I think
That's
Steven
fascinating,
of
yeah.
Biblical Hitman was just texting me about it. He's saying obviously that he thinks that there's some sort of some kind of weird misinformation.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do like a takedown on, not a takedown, that sounds gay, but you know, an episode on the Monroe Institute, and Puharich is directly related to all of that as well.
Puharich is the guy that in America introduces all this shit that this guy is talking about here. That's introduced in the 50s. And then he's also involved with weird seances.
There's a dude in real life in the 50s talking about all this
a
stuff.
CIA operative that is responsible for like multiple patents from dental tooth implants of voice of God technology. He's one of the first guys that is experimenting with psychedelics, specifically psilocybin, in a way to do what they're talking about here. But he was doing this all throughout the 50s. He's a guy that discovers Uri Geller and starts the UFO phenomenon in the 70s. He's everywhere. He's doing everything at the same time.
I gotta ask a big picture question. I hope I can ask it like clear enough. Is like, so I'm born in like 1980, right? And the world I grew up in, like, you were just a crazy person to talk about aliens. You were a crazy person to talk about any kind of conspiracy theory. Like, if this stuff was happening in the 50s and you guys talk about stuff even before that, after that, like, so what happened that the reality got shaped for 99% of Americans?
Dude,
like, is it just more available now because of the internet? Or no,
I was
is there
watching
still...
a documentary with Hulk Hogan. And in the 90s, 80s...
What is it? Poop Brother.
Poop Brother, yeah, PP. In the 90s or 80s, he had like one of his biggest controversies was they were like, oh, you should take your vitamins and go to sleep early every day, but you've been doing steroids. And in America, they're like, we need to get Congress to investigate Hulk Hogan. It's like, yeah, he's doing steroids. He's fucking 500 pounds. He's 7 feet tall. He's on steroids. But the innocence of America at that time was such that, like, people were distraught. And I feel like...
what generation did that, or what years did that happen with baseball? Same thing happened with baseball.
A little bit after baseball. But yeah, baseball was a little bit after that, I think.
90s and early 2000s. It was like McGuire and so. Okay, but so, like, if that was being talked about in the 50s, why did it never, like, take... in society?
It's the innocence of America. I think the internet, like, we are now, like, with podcasting and what we're doing, we are in this age of information where we're going, like, Infowars actually was like the perfect name for, and actually Infowars just died today.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Because I
I
think
swear to God, I've heard that before, though.
maybe the Infowars is over and we're moving on to a new war. But yeah, it was information warfare, and we're like deflowering America with all this stuff, and we're allowed to just
Yeah, with our information penises.
with our information penis. It was just interesting. It's interesting to watch that time capsule of people really not understanding it, but pro wrestling was the canary in the coal mine for what people would believe. Like
Yeah.
you had well, Donald Trump is involved with this heavily.
Like, people
involved with
believe
this.
that Chris Benoit killed his whole family.
Well, he did. He definitely did.
Wait, what?
Flying headbutted off the ropes.
Oh, shit.
Hulk Hogan is pro America. He comes out. He beats like the Iron Sheik, and he beats
Andre the Giant.
yeah, Sergeant Slaughter. And you could have these storylines of like really, really bad guys and really, really good guys, and then the good guy wins and everybody cheers. And then it gets to a point where Hulk Hogan kind of led through all of this. Like,
Amen, brother.
the good guy shit's not working anymore, and he's got to rebrand. So he rebrands with the
The
black
Wolf
and white, the Wolf Pack, the New World Order, which is fucking crazy.
Hey, it is crazy.
So now you have
That was the best Hogan in my.
Hulk Hogan as a New World Order, but he's straight bad guy because the good guy stuff doesn't work. But it's a symbol of what America's accepting. So yeah, you're not allowed to talk about that stuff when you were a kid, but now if you look at wrestling, now it's like there are no heels, there are no faces, meaning like good guys, bad guys. Everybody's kind of like weird, and the storylines don't quite make sense because
they're not compelling. In my,
it's not compelling. It's weird. America's in this weird phase, and pro wrestling hasn't caught up on what to do yet.
I think because it's not whatever the collective psychology of America has shifted to. Pro wrestling no longer appeals to that.
But
that
that's
collective
embarrassing
mind.
because, like, you're basically saying a parallel to the 501c3 church system.
Sure.
It's fucking pro wrestling.
That's why they come out on
it's
wires
a show,
and shit.
It's a theater. They've created a narrative.
What do the
but
people
everybody's
wanna see?
moved on, but they haven't.
Right. So what do the people want to see? And I think we're not in a time of like, what do people want to see? We're in a time of authenticity. So it's going to be like, almost like reality stuff. Like Hulk Hogan. After all this good guy, bad guy shit, he moves on to reality TV.
So this stuff that was happening in the 50s was happening, but people just weren't ready for reality.
Well, a lot of it is accessibility.
And
So
now-
we have like the Freedom of Information Act. We also have the ability
internet.
to access that information through the internet, incredibly quickly.
People that were calling it out, it was easy to you can kill people at the time, just send them away. Now, like, information that moves around so fast, that, like, you can't. So in order to get ahead of this, they kind of have to, like, now they placate to conspiracy theorists. Now you look on,
We're
look at the White
fucking
House.
ops now.
The fucking White House is throwing out conspiracy theories. Donald Trump is he's tweeting or truthing QAnon posts.
Remember when he gave all those people those binders and put them out, the Epstein binders? I also think that those stories, that you're talking about in wrestling, they no longer resonate because we've entered this kind of moral gray zone.
Yeah.
Where we're much more willing to accept that morality is a gray area. Nobody's all good and all bad. That doesn't work anymore. And so I think that's why you see shows like let's say Breaking Bad so popular, even though you're rooting for what is effectively an evil piece of shit.
The bad guy.
In Walter White.
It's called postmodernism.
Right.
And we are kind of in, I think Stephen Kinsella said that we are in it's not postmodern, but I gotta think.
What is that? What Cashman says? Post-reality?
Yeah.
I like that. Post-reality is...
Post-reality America is great, but like post...
Do we have Cashman's book or no?
Yeah, I have it at home. Post-persuasion America, meaning like people think what they think and there's really no...
steering the narrative anymore.
Yeah, it's
There's
weird.
no changing it. It just...
In fact, we kind of laugh when we go, look, they're trying to steer the narrative.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, and I mean collectively, like on Twitter, everybody points and laughs now, which I don't know that means anything's gotten away from them at all. I think we just have a different, mode of control where wrestling used to be the thing. I think a lot of it is now podcasters probably. I made that tweet where I said, my fellow conspiracy theorists, I regret to inform you that we have been weaponized, which has been the case for a long time. But you take compelling ones like a Candace Owens or an Ian Carroll or any of these people, and you don't even really need to put money in their pocket. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm just saying you have to feed them the right information, let the algorithm boost them, and you can have something that appears much more organic than kayfabe ever did.
So the reality of the universe is just very, very crazy. very different from what we've ever thought in America with like Burger King and the World Series and the Super Bowl. And so as time goes on, they let you get a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, because they know they have to, because now the cat's getting out of the bag a little bit because of the guy in the 50s, because of Hulk Hogan. They got to get you a little closer, but then they feed the narrative to the podcasters because they're like, okay, well, these guys will run with it, and everybody will think that's gospel. It's not coming from CNN. It's not coming from Fox. It's coming from podcasters.
Well, the question...
But they let you get a little closer, but reality is way, way weirder than
I think the
they'll
question
ever...
that you have to ask is, are they allowing us to get a little bit closer because the cat's coming out of the bag, or are they facilitating the cat coming out of the bag? And are they the ones that are facilitating, these reveals? Or, is this actually what was always going to happen?
Or are they letting it go further down a road, but it's a wrong road? They're like, it's like, here's reality. Reality's really over here. We'll let them go really deep down the road, but we'll just make sure the road goes over there.
They have to stick to the script some ways. I think it's like we talked about Jesus Plus, where it's like you're not going to be able to get away with another God for America. It's going to have to be Jesus plus. So it's like it looks like, but not quite. Mm-hmm. It's got to appear like the real thing. So yeah, they stick to the script, but like there's a lot of weird branches that come off this tree,
and a lot of them are red herrings. A lot of them are branches that are meant for you to waste your time,
and you can end up way over there. But then after a while, you'll have to look around and be like, oh man, I'm way off track.
Yeah.
But the point is, they want to keep you on, but continue like just sliding you left or right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just seems like the typical CNN, Fox News fighting. They were like, okay, we're losing everybody on that. Like they're not into that anymore, so we need to make it a little deeper and crazier.
It's just pro wrestling. It's exemplified in every area of America. That's what it's come to. But let's keep on reading this.
Yeah, keep on keeping on.
I got the transcript pulled up here, so I'm reading it too. But
you want these last two so I can get rid of this box?
No,
I'm not saying you're hungry for it. I'm just saying, do you want them so I can get rid of the box?
No, I'm good. I don't really like pepperoni.
Okay. You want the sausage?
Yeah, I'll have a sausage. That's cool,
you
man.
got it. That'll make room for the pepperoni.
I'm gonna have a sausage real quick. If you got an extra one of those flying around, that's cool. You want to pass me one of those? That's cool. Hold on, I can't play it. I got my hands full of. Oh, well, I guess I'll just take two of them. That's fine.
There you go.
That's no big deal.
It's getting wild.
It just got stuck together, All right, let's go.
Tantalizing, given the position we were
Turn my
in.
monitor up a little bit.
According to our contact, experiments with LSD had been conducted at the Treblinka extermination camp. A group of prisoners was given the drugs for a period of several months, and the results were so impressive that somehow the prisoners were able to convince the camp leaders to take the drug as well. Soon the entire camp hierarchy was taking the drug and working together on a new device that was some sort of destructive radar, which could bring down planes as easily as ordinary radar found them.
This actually, they don't expand too much on that. I'm thinking, is that like EMP? I don't know enough about like World War II and sort of the actual combative situation, but a type of radar that could take down planes sounds like EMP, like an EMP burst, but I don't know if I would call that a radar. I don't really know shit about that though. Maybe there's something that is common knowledge, like somebody who's a big World War II buff is out there like, yeah, man, this changed the fucking tide.
But what was he saying, that the inmates were on the LSD, that they were vibing so much that the people watching them said, we want some of that.
Yep.
I've had the
Not just
opposite happen
vibing.
too, where I
No.
tripped so hard that somebody's like, I'm not doing that.
They were
I'm not doing this.
They were creating such compelling like equations and theoretical technology and such that they were able to actually get their captors to be like, okay, these motherfuckers are cooking. Let me get some of that and help you out.
It sounds like it's alluding to how they took down the Roswell stuff. They said, oh, we took it down with radar.
That's
Remember that?
right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. If so, smart.
Vacuum tube radar technology. When did that get revealed?
When was Roswell? 70s?
I thought Roswell was
early
48.
50s. Early 50s, late 40s.
Oh, I thought it was like 48.
Well, there you go.
Interesting.
Here we
It
go.
was an interesting year.
It was said to be powerful enough to slice bombers right in half.
What?
Of course, we found this news hard to believe. Nazi death camp commanders working side by side with Jewish prisoners to invent a magical radar. It was utterly fantastical. Our good sense told us to ignore it. And yet, how could we? The Americans had already taken back the Philippines. Soon they would take Iwo Jima and then Okinawa. and all the home islands. We were facing the end of the Japanese as a free race, perhaps the end of all Japanese existence. The Germans would have it easy compared to us. Many Americans were German in origin. There is a blood affinity between the two countries. This did not exist for us. The Americans would burn our cities and rape our women and enslave us, make us servants, like their Negiro.
They're what?
We would be bred with the whites until we...
This is very funny.
Did you just say the N-word?
No, Negiro. It's like a slave. Idaho Hermit says, this dude's voice is a little too dramatic for me. He's talking about raping, enslaving, and destroying an entire people group. But this guy's voice is a little bit too
Little
dramatic for the
dramatic.
situation.
It becomes
I will say it is dramatic all the time, though.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And when the parts are funny, it's kind of funnier coming from that voice.
Yeah.
Of caste. Japanese culture would crumble. The stories of our childhoods would be forgotten. We were watching a sword disappear into our hearts, and we were desperate for some kind of divine intervention. So, in late 1944, a glass jar of LSD crystals, enough for several million doses, was taken aboard a submarine and slipped under the cover of the sea, back to the home islands. We were looking for divine grace. What we found was a hell beyond our darkest dreams of destruction. Hello, friends. Thank you for your interest in my post. I wanted to apologize.
Okay, so there's been a shift. This is the actual narrator. Or not the actual narrator, the actual author. This is a Reddit post, and he's breaking the fourth wall kind of a deal.
So he's posted, this is 10 years ago, and he's posted however many we listened to so far, 4 or 5 of them, and now he's like, hey guys, just want to say thanks for listening to my stuff.
Sort of. It's a little bit more informative than that.
It's a break from the narrative here.
Yeah. Which this guy does tell his own story.
Should we end it here?
No.
Okay.
Fuck no.
We got pizza, bro. This
Come
is
on,
like
man.
an all-nighter.
You got some place to be. I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
This is fucking...
dude.
All right,
Got
let's do it.
popcorn,
All right,
pizza,
okay.
like, let's go.
All right.
You got popcorn?
You guys want other snacks?
No, God, no, please. I'll eat them all. I have a
sure?
control issue.
No, I got other snacks out there, though.
This
if you
is like
want
me
some.
just like covering the table in crushed Oxycontins and being like, let's watch this. Let's listen to this thing.
Look at him. He's like, that sounds nice. Don't
Sounds
do
like
it.
a good
Don't
time.
do
Yeah.
that.
No,
I know.
I would never want to do
But that's what
ever again.
that's what you just did to me. You basically
No,
just
I never know when the food is really that big of a deal for you.
you chopped up lines always.
Time,
Pete's
like,
always.
no.
Top knows. I go to your house.
Right now.
He's always got a fucking spread.
My wife's still mad about
The
it.
first time I ever did a show over there, we came out and you started destroying the cookies, and I took a picture. You were like, "Why are you taking a picture?" I just met you, like the day before.
I remember that, yeah.
He ate an entire Sam's Club thing of
Cookies?
No, it's bizarre. Croissants.
Oh,
Oh, they're good.
Croissants.
Croissants are
yeah.
good.
I
The
know, but
bread?
David.
Yeah,
I have
Croissants?
my version of self-control
French.
is different.
17 of them?
that's
It
disgusting.
didn't have 17 in there.
Were they flavored at all, like chocolate on inside?
No, they were
No.
just croissants.
It was just regular croissants. That's what I'm saying. I was like, this is just bread.
like a duck.
I have an
It's
issue.
just like,
I don't know what the issue
Yeah,
is.
you feed it to a duck.
yeah.
That's kind of what it was. When I saw that, I was like, definitively has an issue here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're out in the open about his eating issues now. I didn't know because last time we had the thing when he got
Well, the thing is,
mad
I
and-
haven't been having an eating like today. You know what I ate? I had quinoa and eggs.
And 17 pizzas.
Yeah, now I had 17 fucking pizzas, but I had quinoa and eggs.
Why can't you just see a pizza and have 2?
They say a
I
lot
don't
of that
know.
comes from bitterness and unforgiveness will kind of cause that.
I think, my dad wasn't around, and I had a real we were struggling. We were kids, or when I was a kid. There's no we.
I want to hear from the narrator, David.
Yeah,
An
you're right.
eating disorder is very girly.
It is. It is very
Love
girly.
Nancy.
He
I was
called
raised
you
by
a
women.
Bitch. She called you a bitch.
Thanks, Nance.
to
That's
the
funny,
community
Nancy.
at large for posting them to threads whose relationship to their content is, at best, tangential.
What'd I do?
I simply had nowhere else to post my information where anybody would read it. Previously, I was operating a website wherein my information laid out in a rather straightforward manner. I was quite
Let's go to that
convinced
website.
that the undeniable truth of this information would attract attention on its own accord. I was quite sure that somehow this grand truth would shine out as a beacon and resonate with receptive people and quickly become widespread. As I recall, my best month brought about 400 visitors and a total of 4 non-spam comments. 75% of these recommended psychiatric intervention. So here we find ourselves. I am attempting to use the techniques of...
That's what you're talking about, Matt, where you're like, something happened, like we weren't allowed to talk about this in the 80s. Like he's writing this. This is him telling you he's writing this in probably 2015, maybe even earlier, on like a personal blog, and people are like, you need help. Here we are 10 years later, and we're going, actually, a lot of that's happened.
Right.
It's like that. A lot of this has been declassified. So
that's actually probably back when Reddit wasn't full of fucking faggots.
yeah.
Reddit has become a cesspool for liberal homosexuals
So has
and pseudo intellectuals.
pro wrestling, and I think that that's the problem.
That's interesting. Yeah.
We need it back.
Take back wrestling.
Take back wrestling. So
You
we
would
can
need to
find
start a
out-
whole new organization because all those
You
guys
gotta-
are like,
Yeah, they keep making new ones, and more gay people flock to
Wait,
it.
do you guys watch
I used to.
fake wrestling?
I've seen it. So I go to my cousin's house occasionally, and
Yeah, I used to.
he has it on. And back in the day, you had like Viscera. Remember?
Big fan of that stuff.
What?
Remember
Yeah.
Vader?
The only person I watched wrestling with my entire life was my Aunt Ruthie that had Down syndrome. Like I
Yeah,
never,
dude, 'cause Down
And
syndrome
I
people
never
fucking
knew
crush.
a person that wasn't Down syndrome that like, well, maybe my boy Hotsy in high school, he liked wrestling. He was like, it's like boys soap operas. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm not watching. This is crazy.
Yeah, they're telling you the archetypes.
Remember Rakishi?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember Mankind?
I did.
Like all those hideous characters, they don't exist anymore. Everybody's
They-
just kind of
No,
like,
I remember when I was a kid, the figurines and stuff. There was Jake the Snake. There
Hell
was
yeah.
like the Undertaker. There was like Junkyard Dog.
yeah.
I remember Junkyard Dog.
They're displaying archetypes for young men so that they can emulate them in real life.
Yeah.
The storylines, that's what it is. And they
Blaptown
struggle
Honey
now.
says wrestling is so gay, I can't stand it. It wasn't for you, Blaptown. It's for
because
dudes.
Everything, I think we live in a really broken...
Where everything has to be for everybody now.
I don't know. Everything's all fucked up. So they can't even tell a coherent story. Nobody can tell a coherent
No,
story.
that's just a very, very strange thing in the story of reality is this thing called fake wrestling where they already know the outcome before it starts, but they're going to do it in a way where you don't know and you think, oh, you're cheering for the guy. It's like it's already been determined who's going to win.
I remember
Which
fighting with
is
people.
incredibly intriguing when you think about like the Iran war. It's like if people think they're watching and cheering, going, yeah, I want my team to win. I want that. It's like it's probably already totally determined.
I
Still
think-
Reserve
think
says,
we're-
I got beat up in grade school for telling this one dude who called, we called for Tourette's Kid. We called him Tourette's Kid, and he told him wrestling sucked, and Tourette's Kid beat his ass.
Good.
Hell yeah, dude, you deserved it.
Yo,
Had
I
it coming.
told you that my Aunt Ruthie, if you tried to grab her hands, she could hold your hands like this, and you couldn't get them out, dude. Yeah, you couldn't get them out, bro.
That's it.
Just like crazy strong.
Down syndrome.
These are the people we need.
Yeah, we do on the front lines.
Fiction and suspense to hopefully generate interest in this information. Your subreddit furthers the same, and I sincerely thank you for creating it. I should clarify that this information is not fiction, nor is it true.
Oh.
It is a mix of things which happened and things which almost happened. Things which were and things which could have been. You must understand that the present moment in which we exist is simply a nexus from which trillions of possible past and possible futures branch out. The important thing to realize is that these unreal past and unrealized futures are related to each other. By examining what might have been, we can come to understand what might come to be. I am writing about what has never been, and what must never be. Unfortunately, our generation has been given a special burden. We are doomed, as the apocryphal Chinese curse has it, to live in interesting times. Soon, technological advances in the field of information technology and bioengineering will fundamentally reshape human existence. There are a number of possible outcomes, and I believe that most of them will result in the human race entering unending era of absolute slavery. As a free species, we have seen totalitarianism before. We have destroyed it. But when it arises again, aided by advanced information and biological technology, it will have a new and unprecedented ability to envelop the entire Earth and place humanity in an unalterable state of total mental and physical slavery that will last for uncounted millennia till the earth becomes uninhabitable. Not only do I believe that this outcome is possible, I believe that it is overwhelmingly likely. Out of all the trillions of possible futures arrayed before us, 99.9999% of them result in this outcome. As Christ said, "Wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But narrow is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." We must find and enter the narrow gate, but it will not be easy. In order to find it, we must sort through the many possible paths to find the few possible futures which result in a humanity free to live and die as humans, and not as an unholy agglomeration of mindless flesh. Unfortunately, as we fight against the forces of slavery and death, it will be precisely our instincts towards the preservation of freedom and life that will lead us to destruction. In short, we live in precarious times. I want to make clear that while this post shows clear and appalling signs of megalomania, I am actually aware that I am not a prophet or an expert. I am a 30-something American male without the benefit of a college education or a stable job. Sadly, I've spent most of my life drunk. My post will contain a number of historical errors, both intentional and unintentional, as well as bad spelling, bad grammar, and laughably overwrought prose. Readers with a proper education will easily see through my attempts at erudition. In short, I have no proper formal qualifications for the task I have set out for myself. But I have personally experienced the intellectual mutations of which I write. Through repeated self-experimentation, I have fractured the time state of my brain, and now it exists in an ever-shifting state between various pasts which didn't happen. As such, I have been given what I believe is a special insight into our possible futures. They are dark. The shadows of the past atrocities pass and overlap with the shadows of future atrocities. Time is short. Recently, I have been beset with a persistent creativity that seems to grow stronger as the days go by. I fear this state is unsustainable. Perhaps eventually this productive mania will turn into an unproductive psychosis, and soon, on a larger scale, mankind's productivity will turn into its own sort of psychosis. Billions of years ago, the so-called primordial soup arranged itself into a self-replicating form, which multiplied and flourished, and divaricated into countless species. From our vantage point in the present, this singular moment of origin has become lost in the mists of time. Equally obscure to us is the future singularity towards which we are heading. The endpoint, which all the countless species are once again reintegrated into a new and singular form. A new abomination. We are on the verge, all of us. Times are dire. We are about to be gathered again into the arms of the mother, to become one flesh with her.
What was it?
The mother who gathered.
So, breaking the third wall. This is the part.
It's the fourth one.
The fourth wall. Once you get into this part of the series, it's very hard to stop.
Yeah.
Because now he's talking to you and he's explaining what's happening here. They're no longer abstract stories. This is a guy, they've called him crazy. He's tripling down on crazy, writing directly to
Respect.
an audience that said and telling them fuck you. So I'm like, all right, I'm interested.
Yeah.
He's saying here it's a mix of things, kind of true, kind of not true.
Yeah.
I don't spell good. If you're an intellectual, you're gonna see right through how kind of dumb I am.
Which, by the way, he writes really well. Like, this just reads. I can't read. This is read to
it
me
speaks very well.
by this man. Yeah, speaks very well.
Oh, this is a different guy that's
But this is 2016.
Probably before.
Yeah. So if I'm hearing this or reading this in 2016, I'm saying like, yeah, dude, this guy's like out there.
I'm hearing it in 2016 and going like, okay.
Yeah.
Don't know nearly as much as I didn't know nearly as much as I know now. I still don't know shit, but I would have been like, this would have had me.
2016 is when Trump first got.
Yep.
Right before Trump was Obama. Like,
That's
dude,
when everything got fucked up.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that time period. That's wild. If he
Pivotal
was-
moment.
Huge moment.
Huge moment, yeah.
We're going on a. I mean, I think we were bumped off at some points, but it was never this drastic. Trump gets elected, and we're like, we're not. That's not supposed to happen.
And it's not stopping.
And
like
it's
that
not
moment
stopping.
is like somebody hit the gas, man. And
Yeah.
it hadn't been let off ever since.
What do you think, though, specifically that he just, when he came on the scene, so many things started being exposed? Like even just the thing called like fake news. People didn't call it fake news back then. Now everybody in the country knows that the news is fake. Like that's
So much changed when Donald, and that's why I really liked him from 2015. Like I just had like a sense of whatever he was, and he's bringing, and he's like this kind of like light bringer, light bearer. He's like shining the light on all
exposure.
of this stuff.
Yeah, he's coming with a
Well,
flashlight.
plus at that time, it was like a lot more simple in the sense that it was like, I remember back then thinking like there's three things that are just really bad destroyers of America, and it's the so-called Republican
Jews.
Party,
Oh.
the so-called Democrat Party, and the so-called media.
Yeah.
And it was very clear that those three entities didn't like him, or at least acted
Jews,
like it
Muslims,
at that time.
blacks.
So I was like, this dude's fighting against those three entities. I like this guy.
Right. This pro wrestling, right? We can all get it.
By the way, he was a big fan of what Vince McMahon had done.
He's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
He literally is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
But it's like, yeah, that calls to me, and I go, oh, there's the storyline. We get it, right? Off the ropes, here comes Trump, boom. And it's like,
Sexy.
not likely. Oh, he's hulking out. He wins. It's like, yeah, okay, we get the storyline. And they're presenting this to us through politics now. So that's like, all that shit changes. But this guy's in that, while me, I mean, you were probably a little bit outside of it at this point, but I'm kind of in, and you're in this movement too, the political movement, and you're watching it, and you're going like, there's sides. I know which side. Like, we were at least smart enough to be on the correct side of this, right? They're like half the country was on just the fucking completely wrong side. So we're playing the game. We're like, yeah, this dude's so outside of the game. He's floating above the game, writing all this shit down to the point where it's like, now that we're reading this, Mother Horse Eyes, he's talking about the integration. He's talking about AI. He's talking about the singularity.
yeah.
He's talking about everybody becoming this Borg in 2016. We had AI and there was only like rumblings of this.
That was a fringe idea back in 2016. Now it's a hyper popular.
What does he compare it to here? Look at what he says here. Equally obscure to us is the future singularity towards which we are heading, the endpoint which all countless species are one once again, reintegrated into a new and singular form, an abomination.
Yeah.
One world order.
Yes. All of us times are dire. We are about to be gathered again into the arms of the mother.
Yeah.
And this is like bang, like we're back into this is
That's
a
what I'm
Steven thing
saying, dude,
with the
like-
divine feminine. This guy has any conspiracy theory you can throw. If we had a dartboard and
already
you throw it
on
at
it.
every
Crazy.
single one is in
2016.
here.
And it's not that he's on it and he's saying like, look at this thing, like a crazy Charlie.
Yeah, and
from,
this is why the world is gonna end.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
no,
no,
this
he's
is how
just
this
saying-
connects to this, and look at this over here, and here's the story of how all of these things make sense.
In
So
fact,
how
much
long
of this
ago-
he's had experiences with to the extent that it's anthropomorphized, like this mother character, a lot of this, which I don't know if that's something that he's claiming is real, but like the same way that the Bible describes the
spoiler
Scarlet
alert,
Woman.
the mother is the devil in this story.
Yeah, man. It's such a crazy thing. It's
You know, the
such a crazy
previous
thing.
story that we heard where the girl goes, it was just like Granny's house, right?
Yeah.
So she's in Grandma's house, and it's like, okay, that's cut off, and now let's continue to listen to it. But yeah, he is.
Does anybody know who this guy is at this stage of the journey?
We don't know.
No.
we still
So
don't
you
know.
could call him and get him on the show.
Allegedly, there's one guy out there who interviewed him and maintained that guy's anonymity, and you know that's pretty much how it goes. That's the end.
Yep.
So potentially, this guy could be reaching.
Who
out
the
on
hell
some back
knows,
channels.
Dude, the thing is, like, this is such an obscure story that, like, there's a guy named Wendigoon and Papa Meat.
When to goon and when not to goon.
Wendigoon,
Never
yeah.
Goon. No, Never
So
Goon.
they read this story. It gets millions of views, but, like, he doesn't have anywhere near those kind of views with just the story that he wrote. He wrote it. It's in the ether now. He just fades back.
And also to interview him and be like, how could he possibly give us more than 10 hours that he's written down.
Yeah, like what do you want me to tell you? Like fucking.
I
read
fucking
this-
did. I literally wrote
I
down.
don't know if I had him on. I'd probably be like, where you from?
Where you from? Guys, go subscribe to the new Straight Bible channel.
Oh, my
We're
goodness.
gonna be doing like more interview shows. I think it's gonna be called Where You From? Straight
That's
Bible.
funny.
Where You From?
Straight
cool.
Bible.
That's
Where
going to
you
be its
from?
own series.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Interviews.
Hey, you guys heard it here first.
Others
Here we go.
lost
All right,
children.
let's check it out.
The mother I have seen in dark spaces since I was a little child. Back when I called her the mother with horse eyes. We are about to meet her again. We are about to be unborn.
So this is the context for the whole thing? Is
So-
this entity that he's been seeing since he's a child that he calls the mother
With
and
horse
it had
eyes.
horse eyes?
So
that thing that we saw with the 4 eyes, we don't know if that's what it looked like. That's just
Yeah, that's a
somebody.
rendition
This
that-
guy never said what
That's
what he
AI's
meant by
rendition.
that.
no, he'll go on to elaborate.
Have
Mother
you ever
Horse
seen
Eyes
a horse
is a,
eyes?
Yeah, but what if
Horse's
it just
eyes?
looks like a human, but the eyes are like horse eyes?
So he'll go on later on to describe that. You'll hear all the very in detailed descriptions of this entity. But Mother Horse Eyes is a big character and plot device in this story, among many others. It becomes obvious to me listening to this that he could have named it a bunch of other things. Mother Horse Eyes is fine,
Like that's like a horse's eye.
which actually that looks like a normal iris,
but that
Yeah.
could be on a human face.
but it ain't.
Oh, okay. There's more to the story. Okay. I'm just saying, dude, from the day that I ever saw that T-shirt that says Mother Horse Eyes, I had no clue this is where this was going.
It's so fun.
It's crazy.
You
it's
guys like
crazy.
never told me
Hanging
this
out
was a
with the
thing.
tri-
It's a
I've
hard
no-
thing to get in. How do I explain this to you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Yeah.
It's unexplainable.
No,
It's
it's-
every
yeah.
conspiracy ever.
It heads. Magical
wait, let me
space.
just
We
bring
are
this back.
about to meet her again. We are about to be unborn. When you're
This is the
hanging
next
out with
chapter.
the tribe of Nazi acid heads, magical space pussy doesn't even register on the weirdo meter. I mean, they talk about so much weird shit, and so much of it was total bullshit that I didn't pay any fucking attention.
I think this should be the last story that we listen to.
Okay. So
You got
he's-
it, boss.
By the way, throughout this, it's not just like him telling these stories. He tells it from the perspective of the person. So
Oh no, the Iwo Jima's next.
Iwo
We
Jima's
gotta do
great.
Iwo
Iwo Jima's kind of
Yeah,
long
we gotta
though.
do it, dude. We got to.
Iwo Jima, dude.
We got pizza. You want pizza? Or
No,
sorry.
God,
You want pizza?
no.
I'm good.
Okay.
Iwo Jima grips the shit out of you.
Got that grippy?
It got that grippy. Maybe we should double up and do Iwo Jima last. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But Iwo Jima is one of those where like you don't want to stop listening.
Okay.
Attention to it. It was the 60s. Talking about magical space pussies was like asking somebody how their day went. It was just conversation to me. But to them, it wasn't. That was a strange time in my life. I'd spent the last 6 months going from commune to commune, just checking them out. They were all bullshit.
This is no longer the
Every one
narrator.
of them
Somebody else.
Right.
was just
We're
some
back in
guy
the
on a
story.
power trip and a bunch of women who'd grown up with bad fathers hanging on his every word, hoping he would solve all their problems. That's the only way the commune system worked. The guy got control of the women, and the women attracted a few guys to the manual labor. But in the end, it was basically just a new system of pimping. I mean, I'm from Brooklyn. I've seen pimping. These chicks had tried to escape society and just gotten themselves pimped out. It was tragic. But not too tragic for me to give a shit about it. So I went out to Death Valley. Why did I go there? Why does anybody? Because it has a cool name. If it was called some scorpions and a bunch of fucking rocks, which is what it actually is, nobody would go. I had decided I was done with counterculture. I was done with the regular culture. I was done with it all. I would go where no one would bother me, and just try to figure myself out. Get a little peace and quiet.
This feels like
A
Nick
month
Hinton
later,
wrote
the
it.
Mason family moved in next door.
He calls it the Mason family there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a typo, but he even says Charlie, like it's the Manson family.
Right.
The Manson family moved next door to him when he moved out to Death Valley.
For a while, it was just a nice little guy named Paul and some girls living a few miles from my little shack. Seemed harmless. Then the whole family came in. Charlie, too. They had already committed the murders at this point. It was big news, but nobody knew who did it. I surely didn't connect it to the band of weirdos next door. They seemed too stupid to pull off anything newsworthy. Just another bullshit commune. Once Charlie got there, the family seemed to spend most of their time driving their dune buggies around, pretending to be the fucking Africa Corps. I mean, Charlie would put a helmet on with a swastika and lead them in maneuvers. I had never met a racist Nazi hippie before. There was a first time for everything. Some of them even talked about Uncle Adolf and how he knew the score, how he should have won the war. I was a mechanic in the army, so I helped them out with the buggies and got to know them a little. Slowly, their little philosophy trickled down onto me. They thought America was on the verge of an apocalyptic race war. Blacks on white, helter-skelter, the Watts riot in every city. That part actually seemed pretty plausible. I mean, you have to understand, in 1969 the country had been getting weirder and weirder, more and more violent every year. Nobody was quite sure when it would end. Nobody knew that in the 70s, the counterculture would just kinda peter into a bunch of fucking James Taylor albums. They said that they had come to the desert to find a hideout so they would be safe while the helter-skelter race war was going on. They said that somewhere out in the desert there was a bottomless pit full of wonders and treasures. In the Bible, Revelation speaks of the tree of life, which bears 12 kinds of fruit, one for every month. They said this tree was growing inside the bottomless pit and would give them all the food they wanted while they waited out the war. When it was over, they said, they would emerge and Charlie would rule the world as the new Christ. So that part was a little less plausible. And then I started hearing about the magical space vagina. I had become friends with Paul, who was actually a nice guy who just wanted to fuck the girls and get stoned, and didn't really get into the whole Nazi thing. He said that they were searching for the entrance to the bottomless pit. He said that entrance would be made of flesh, growing out of the rocks. Like a giant pussy, so big you could stroll right in. I told him he thought about pussy way too much. But he was serious. He said that the technology to turn rocks into flesh was from outer space, and its secrets had been taught to Charlie by Uncle Adolf. Until then, I thought that Uncle Adolf was their name for Hitler. Slowly, I learned more. I started to realize that they were talking about somebody who was still alive. Somebody they actually knew. They told me he was coming soon. This kind of psychological mirroring was exploited in the design of the flesh interfaces.
New chapter.
New chapter. Okay. So, I mean, that one was super self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's relatively caught it. You got all
Yeah,
that?
he moves to Death Valley. He moves in next to the Mansons. They've already killed people. He doesn't know it. There's some wild stuff going on.
They're just driving around buggies,
There
doing
happens to be
maneuvers.
one of those portals in the desert now.
Or
They're
so they
look-
say.
And they're looking for
They're
it.
looking for it. I do love that in very many ways this is like a QAnon thing, where QAnon pulls together elements of a bunch of conspiracies to make like a grand conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, Mother Horse-Eyes does the same thing. So we have World War II, and we have MKUltra, and we have the CIA, we have Manson now, and it's going to continue. We're going to
It's kind of all connected as part of one big
one
story.
big conspiracy.
Huh.
And it's also adding this element of which is what we talk about all the time on the show, where it's not only scientific. Like we already talked about the scientific part, the governmental part, the CIA, and all that, and what they're doing with their actual experiments. Now it's becoming like rituals.
Yeah.
Like this is part of a cult. We have like religiosity.
We're in the
into it.
desert. There's a bottomless pit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's
It's all the same thing is really what we're getting at. But it's kind of like what we were thinking for a long time. We catch on to this and we're like, yeah, man, it is kind of all.
It's crazy how
overlapping the
much
same thing.
we were coming back, you and I, from
The Fountain of Youth.
Was that where it was in Saratoga or Saratoga? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Saratoga.
Sarasota.
And that was a long drive, like 4 hours or something. And you were like telling me to listen to this thing, and you're like, "Fuck it, dude, I'm putting it on." And for 4 hours in the car ride home, I just sat there like,
Never heard David so quiet.
You
dude,
sure he wasn't just gassy?
no, that would have
Dude,
been loud.
I've drove with him to Miami maybe, I don't know, 5 times.
And how long is
Hasn't
that
shut the
drive?
fuck up.
5 hours.
5 hours.
And
the
we're just
entire
doing
time.
like back-to-back podcasts.
I
in the
don't think
car.
people know how annoying he gets off camera. I don't think they know, dude.
I think they probably could get a feel for that.
No.
Yeah, I think that comes through.
At some point, I was just looking. I'm like, this is amazing. He's gone, and I'm like, maybe we should.
So
save
he
it.
was locked in.
locked in.
4 hours coming back from the Fountain of Youth. Just
Somebody
this
said
story.
Somebody
Yeah.
said the Iwo Jima segment is their favorite.
It's next.
For me, it's the crone
Yeah.
and the desert and the. I don't even want to spoil it.
I
man.
like the club scene.
The club is cool. With the one, okay, I know what you're talking about. But for me, man, like, there's a tribe and there's a desert and there's a crone.
It's a banger
And
too.
it's so
Wait,
good.
let's get through this. Let's get through this.
Okay.
When a human body is embedded in an interface, the
really
independent,
stepped into it,
i.e.
Matt.
non-human interface glands produce massive amounts of LSD, which cause intellectual mutations, i.e. time fracturing along several dozen axes. Meanwhile, independent hormone regulators produce an emotional oscillation between two states, euphoria and terror. Thus, we have the typical sound of an interface, altering waves of giggling and screaming that move through the interface population, running along the length of the interface as the hormones travel along the independent conduits. These successive waves of
Hold on. I got to explain that because that's like it's fucking wordy, man. The interface is the flesh tunnel, and the substance that is the LSD moves through it. And basically, the things that facilitate this are like the veins and shit, as you're saying. And as it passes locally, the inhabitants, and we're going to get there, of the flesh interface oscillate between laughter and screaming. So it's moving, and it's causing the inhabitants, as it passes through them, to scream and laugh and scream and laugh. It's just like the way they word it is very dry and scientific in some of these chapters.
giggling and screaming create a steady rhythm that washes over the traveler as they move through the interface. Neutral empathetic responses, mirroring, prepare the traveler's body for the process of embrace. When I was little, they took mommy away, put me with new mommy in a smelly dark house. They said she was a real person, but I knew she wasn't.
New narrator.
They had made her. Her face was made from pieces of animal. Pig cheeks, hairy goat jaw, old horse eyes. They sewed her together badly, and the seams were crusty.
Hold on, I lost it for a second because you were talking. So they took his mom. He's got a new mom, but then now is he describing not his new mom?
He's describing new mom, yeah.
The new mom is the one stitched together with animal parts.
By the way, Baked Tuna asked when we're going to give away the VIP ticket that they bought. So number one, thank you to Baked Tuna. Couldn't make it to the event. Actually bought a VIP ticket for the sole purpose of giving away, which I really appreciate. I don't exactly know when we're going to give it away. We plan on adding some tickets to that so that we have a couple of things to give away. And we're going to announce that shortly. But thank
and
you
if
very much.
anybody
Baked Tuna.
wants to get the VIP tickets at a somewhat of a discount and you got cash,
That's not true.
Come see
You're
me
gonna
at
confuse
the
people.
standard
Don't
at
do
the
that.
register.
You're going to confuse
sometime
people.
soon.
Don't do that. He's just saying things.
Go ahead, let's get back to the show.
But yeah, so taken away from his mother. I think it's actually a girl. I think it'll prove out to be a little girl. Taken away from her mother, introduced to this new mother, and right now describing
and
the way
the
that it
new
looks.
mother is the horse-eye creature.
Pig cheeks, goat jaw, horse eyes. That's where we left off.
Sewn together.
That's mother horse eyes, all the body
So
parts
far.
of animals.
So far, yeah.
I don't like it.
No, nobody likes
Real
this.
mommy called me from underground.
What?
I opened the attic window at sundown and let the spring breeze flow in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pandafly said this is him in the interface as a child in the house of the mother. That is true because later on you'll hear some
This is the
context. for
original
this.
narrator.
This is the original
So
narrator.
he's in the interface.
Yeah, because this same guy that's like doing the LSD and dumping these stories on the internet,
He's going in the interface
this
too.
is his experience. Yeah,
in the interface.
in the interface.
So initially we had
interface.
just heard that they leave, they don't come back, they leave, they come back, they tell stories and then they die. But now this guy is experiencing it.
Wow, it's.
He went through the interface and heard like laughing, screaming, laughing,
I
screaming.
believe even later on he will say, that screaming laughing actually a separate chapter. That was a short little blip chapter. Now we moved on.
That was like a scientific excerpt.
Okay.
Of whatever. is going on.
But he will even describe later on of being like not so fucking sure that he even had these experiences. Where once upon a time he was very sure.
That's why, drowning himself in liquor.
Yeah, in his sobriety, he becomes distant from it, and he's like, I don't even know if any of that was fucking real.
Fair response.
All right, let's
years
get this
later.
going.
Heard her song floating on the cool air. Soft singing from the grave. Watching the flesh interface process known as embrace is kind of like watching those Japanese subway groping videos.
By the way, now it's a different narrative.
Yeah.
It was honestly the first thing I thought of when I watched it. But of course I wasn't going to put that in the official report. You ever seen those videos? Oh, you wouldn't admit it if you had, right?
Who's playing the piano?
It's a whole
it's just
genre
a
over
thing.
there.
Okay.
Not the most progressive stuff in terms of gender equality, but compelling nonetheless. The video starts with a woman standing in the subway, minding her own business,
I think it's Nancy.
when some guy starts feeling her up. She
Oh,
protests
my bad.
demeanorly and attempts to deflect his roaming hands. He persists. Other men on the subway, perhaps sensing her weakness, joined in the groping. A sort of group madness takes over the subway occupants. The men are transformed from ordinary travelers into agglomerated masses of arms and hands and fingers, grabbing every part of the woman's body. The woman's attempts at protecting her personal space are always absurdly ineffectual, and soon she is divested of her clothing. Depending on the video subgenre, a variety of acts ensues, most of which surely violate local transportation statutes. Embrace is kind of like that. That, combined with a school of piranha stripping a live cow of its flesh.
Saying that's what it's like to go into the interface.
That's terrible.
It's pretty terrible. This is the part, I think.
Iwo Jima?
I think this is it. So just imagine though, you're following this on Reddit, and each of these subsections are dropped like today, tomorrow.
Can you
a week.
listen to it like this on Reddit, or it's typed out on Reddit?
It's typed
Typed
out,
out.
and
So
you might only
somebody-
find one of these
So
one day.
somebody recently made it into audio.
Not recently.
No, maybe 9 years ago.
But Reddit
More-
is
a
like
little less.
Twitter. You just go on and you're like, oh, let me read this.
It's not
thing.
like Twitter. They don't let you say faggot or make fun of black people.
Well, 2016, you couldn't on Twitter either, right?
Well, you still
Yeah,
can
no,
on
it's
Reddit.
just a forum. It's a forum of like people are commenting. Like I go on there for like my 3D printer. I'm like, this happened, and then I look for shit, and there's different people saying maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, and you could just read through it. And it's from years ago or maybe more recent. That's what he's doing. But he might even just go on like a 3D printing forum and just drop
one of
that
these.
that excerpt. So people are finding his shit and putting it all together.
3D printer people seem like the type to have.
Although, to be perfectly
Yeah, I
honest,
like this.
he was using the same username.
So they could
You could just
track
click
him.
on his username and then you could see everything he ever posted. But if you didn't do that, you might just come across one of these and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
Lying in the hold, listening to the bombardment. There is no sleep. Booming of the guns travel through the shivering metal of the ship. Hour after hour, without end. The arsenal of democracy.
I love this, by the way. Panda says, this is him replying to something like, what's your favorite Pokemon type
Yeah.
shit. And he just posts something like this, completely schizo, chef's kiss. Yes, Panda Fly, 100%. That's a great way of putting it.
Rains down on the tiny island. What could it be like for the Japs huddled in their bunkers, surrounded, doomed? Do they know they have no hope? Do they expect death? Do they wish for it? Death. The island is death, waiting for them. Ancient, waiting since before they were born. Thousands of young men have crossed the vast oceans to come to her, following paths they could have never foreseen. Thousands of young lives will converge on her shores. Converge and end. After 3 days of round-the-clock bombardment, a clear and bright morning, whispers through the hold about problems with the shells. Many of them never exploded, disappeared in the air. There have been stories of bombers being cut in half, of bomb crews emerging limbless from their planes. What is on the island? Some new kind of weapon, something the Japanese have been saving until now. Just talk. The men feel the death out there, waiting on the island. The landing vehicles ride through the waves, and the Marines climb out onto the beaches of ash, an alien surface crumbling under their boots. There is no fire, no sound but the motors and the clinking of gear, and the sergeant shouting, urging them on. No movement from the interior. Then screams, bloody stumps, men cut in half, but still no fire. How is there no fire? More men screaming, groups of men on the ground howling, bright red lumps where limbs have been. How? No signs of the Japs, no fire, no shells. More vehicles land. The beaches become a crowded, screaming nightmare. There's something here, something beyond their understanding. Invisible, killing at will. Is it the island itself? A few men managed to advance up the steep beaches and across the rocks, but soon they were cut apart as well. Other men follow and advance farther. They've been trained to advance. Take the beach, forward, always forward. Slowly, the men find their way farther and farther into the island interior. Through horrible trial and error, they begin to understand. They don't speak of their discovery. They don't believe it. But their overwhelming will to go forward and their overwhelming fear of death teach them what their minds cannot accept. Teach them a lesson about the island. They notice tracks through the ash and rock where there is no grass. These tracks are not foot trails, but deep tracks carved at strange angles, striated like dry streams, places where it seems the ground is simply missing. They realize they must avoid these tracks, yet they step onto them or let any part of themselves pass over them. That part will disappear. Whether it is their fingers or feet or limbs or even their heads. Sometimes, parts of their bodies disappear even when they don't cross the tracks. And they realize that there are unseen tracks through the air, invisible boundaries they must not cross. If they lose a part of their bodies, the blood does not flow. But there is pain. Pain beyond flames or knives or bullets. Pain unbearable, unholy, inhuman. There are screams all around them, of men who have accidentally run afoul of the invisible power. There is no time to understand this, to reason it out. They simply adapt, moving carefully, holding out blades of wild grass or shirts or gear, probing, waiting for part of the object to disappear, then stopping, testing for a way forward. Sometimes they find it. Sometimes they are forced to turn back. In less than an hour, they have forgotten entirely about the artillery and snipers and bayonets. There are no soldiers, only entrances to empty bunkers, abandoned pieces of artillery, some cut in half, but no enemy. They're playing a new game now, taught to them by some unseen teacher, playing it with total concentration, playing and winning. The Marine, wounded with their strange, unbleeding wounds, are taken away. Their screams fade. Orders from command are unchanged. Take the island. They move forward, up, towards Mount Suribachi. The mountain is shaped like a bowl, a dead volcano. They approach by various paths, each man following another, like a narrow path of safety. Makeshift markers are set up to show their boundaries. A Marine turns and sees, floating like a butterfly, a severed human arm. It turns and floats away and disappears altogether. Minutes later, a disembodied pair of legs scramble past. The Marines curse and speculate and even giggle, but keep moving forward. There is no time to understand. They expected to spend weeks taking the island. Now it seems they could have it in a couple of hours. A shot rings out. The first shot sends the confusion of the landing. A Marine is firing at the mountain. Others peer through their binoculars and spy a man sitting on the rim of the mountain. Simply sitting, alone. Just a vague shape. Snipers are called in and they fire on him. But the island's air seems to swallow the bullets. The man is untouched. They press forward. The deadly tracks wind around them, growing more numerous. Some of the men find themselves at dead ends. One Marine slips and disappears entirely. Not so much as a shout. They come to the foot of the mountain. It is small but rugged and steep, and the lone man sits over them, looking down on them. They hear the sounds now, coming from the other side of the ridge, coming from within the giant bowl of the mountain. Human voices, many of them, thousands. The sounds of laughter, giggling, cackling, and howling laughter. Like a wonderful party where somebody is telling a hilarious story. The Marines listen to it dumbfounded. Slowly, laughter fades. There is a new sound. A strange rushing roar that quickly breaks apart into discrete sounds. Screams, shouts, gasps, weeping terror. The sound rises and the Marines shudder. This too fades, and the laughter returns. And so these two sounds trade places over and over, fading in and out above the sounds of the waves. A Marine trains his binoculars on the mountain again. The man is still sitting there, Japanese, wearing a uniform. His head is floating several feet above his body. The body is in several pieces with lines of sunshine between them. His face, sweat dripping over the smooth eyelids, shows no emotion. Slowly, he raises his hand, as if to wave to them, and his fingers float away from his palm. They crawl up the mountain, bare hands on sharp volcanic rock. The sun beats down on them. It's a grueling test. The island has a secret that it doesn't want to reveal. They draw close to the man at the top of the mountain, keeping their guns trained on him. He has no weapons. His body is fragmented, like an image in a broken mirror. Various pieces floating without connection. The brightness of the sky shining between them. The blood of his insides, bright red, his head is like a balloon floating several feet over the rest of him. Hello, America. The head calls, breaking into a sickly smile. The whites of the eyes are clustered with red hemorrhages. Sweat rolls down the face. The Marines don't know how to respond. They ask if he's armed. The question strikes one of them as funny and he giggles. A tide of giggling comes from the other side of the ridge, behind the fragmented man. The giggling turns to screaming. "What's going on here? You alone?" a Marine asks. The man doesn't seem to understand. One of the Marines tries his basic Japanese. Man makes a sour face. "No Nippon, Korea person," the man says, and a disembodied hand points to a nearby fragment of his chest. "I, Christian," the man says. He pulls a necklace out of his shirt. On the end of it is a small metal cross. A tiny suffering Jesus gleams in the sun. The Marine tries English again. "What's happening here?" "The devil came here." "What?" "The soldiers had built a gate. The child with the command." "I don't understand." A wide smile splits the Korea man's face, and he lets out a laugh, and the smile flees. And suddenly he is weeping. His emotions seem to follow the giggles and screams that come from inside the mountain. The Marines feel it too. The strange urge to laugh followed by a harrowing fear. The sound beyond the ridge rises, the screams becoming higher and louder. A wave of manic giggling joins the screaming, so that both sounds fill the air at once. An electric feeling touches the skin on the Marines' arms. They find their minds filling with strange, dark thoughts. Somewhere in a castle in Japan lies a mad god emperor who has sent his men across the ocean to defend his glorious empire with their blood. On the other side of the world lies a great humming factory called America, the heart of an empire of commerce, which once forced Japan to join the world in trade. Machines and flesh now flow along tendril-like courses, delivering goods and death, ensnaring the globe. The sun goes dark, like a light switch turning off. The Marines instinctively duck, then look up and gasp. Above them, extending miles into the sky, is an enormous metallic cylinder, filling the sky, blocking out the sun. It spins slowly above them, pieces of it flickering and disappearing like the image in a broken movie projector. In a day filled with madness, they find themselves confronted with something wholly beyond their capacity for surprise. They simply mutter soft curses and get closer to the ground. The earth seems to tremble with the sound of the screaming and laughing, which swirls like a storm all around them. Somewhere near the beach, a Marine pats another Marine on the back, interrupting his stunned gawking, and shouts something into his ear. The second Marine pats the man in front of him, and the message goes up the line like this until it reaches the Marine talking to the fractured man. Pull back. They are to withdraw from the island. The men do not question the order for a moment. They turn and crawl away from the Korean. Below them, the ashen island flashes with pieces of sunlight that manage to slip through the flickering cylinder. When they are almost at the foot of the mountain again, the man stands up and shouts something over the hideous screaming. The Marines cannot hear it, and would not understand it anyway. The rough translation being, "The devil took Jesus, went to the mountain to show him all the kingdoms of the world glory. If you fall down and worship me, saying, I will give it all to you." Many people believe that Michael Jackson died to
Oh, this is, dude, the next part is so great.
We have to cut it.
We'll start that next time. Yeah, Michael Jackson and Propofol is fantastic. Man. So what do you think, Matt?
I don't know. Yeah, that.
shit.
You know what that reminds me of? Me and my boy Chuck used to do these painkillers for people that had phantom pains, bro. That if they had like a limb cut off.
Yeah.
I don't know how Chuck got all these. Sorry about that.
Sorry, no.
I don't know how Chuck got all these pain meds, but he was in the military and he had boys in the military that had limbs cut off, and so he just had like these pain meds. They were like Vicodins and Norco type of pain meds, but specifically for people with phantom pains, where
That's
like a limb
interesting.
was cut off. So we used to take them.
Get fucked up.
Yeah, like in the morning, I'd have a couple like Red Bulls or whatever. I'd be like, Chuck, you got any of them phantom pills?
That's insane.
So it kind of reminded me of that. But this is all just crazy stuff, bro.
Panda Fly.
This story's wild.
I'm going to go ahead and use Panda Fly's description here. So the Japanese turned the entire mountain into a flesh interface comprised of the Korean Christians, Japanese soldiers, and probably civilians too, as flesh fodder. So the Japanese intelligence agencies that are, integrating or working with this thing,
They sent them there.
they did this. They turned a collapsed volcano, a dormant volcano, into a flesh interface.
What is the cylinder that's floating above?
That's
is it like
the
spinning?
no. It's the fucking cylinders, that these big metallic cylinders that seem to erupt out of the earth.
Same ones from the very beginning that the Soviets tried to bomb,
Yes.
but it was up too high.
Same shit. Not the same one, but the same ones.
These happen
Yeah, same
at these
variety.
portals.
The soldier was to lure the American soldiers into the mouth of the portal. And then Panda also goes on to say the cylinders form as a Tower of Babel of sorts above the interfaces. So really, really, really interesting. Pandafly just crushing right now.
She
says
knows, dude.
that's a comparison to the Bible where the devil is tempting Jesus at the top of the mountain, right? That's what the Japanese guy spouted off there,
Right.
at the end. If how does Satan or the devil have the ability to offer these things? Because he's the king of this world. Man. Really, really, but in terms of storytelling,
Yeah.
that's one of the more gripping ones, where like you shut the fuck up and you listen to that whole thing, because the pacing and the mood of it all is so you just want to know what happens next. Like, what the fuck? How
Goes
did they...
good with the pizza. It's like you got to have some food for a story like that.
Yeah. What's the stamp on this? I'm gonna finish it today, so that
It's a great idea. We should definitely have the timestamps, but we know which story we ended
the
at.
timestamp, if you're on the members feed, we are at the 1 hour and 3 minute mark. We made it through an hour of it, so that means only
1 hour, 3 minutes, and 28 seconds.
now we have just 9 more hours to go.
We're doing good.
We actually are doing really great.
Yeah.
I think we're nailing it.
I don't know if Matt will make it through this. This is a lot. This
It's
is
too
a heavy
much.
thing.
I can't track with all this, dude.
Do you
It's
like
just
it? I mean,
Do you like it though?
It's just creepy, bro. It's like it's very creepy.
Yeah.
but as far as like good
Vaginal
storytelling,
portals like this is
don't
just
say vaginal.
Vaginal.
Yeah, I
no
just didn't like the-
vagina portals. Like it's just creepy
Yeah.
and weird and bodies chopped and like I don't know, it's not really what I spend my time meditating on. But I mean, as long as we're in this, vibe,
I know, but as far
it's-
as like a story goes, like
He's
you
just
love
happy to
this
be-
kind of stuff.
I'm such a fan of the way
Matt's
this is
just
told.
happy to be here.
You're just happy to be part of the gang, huh?
Feels like good old times again.
Yeah.
Like from like last month or something.
Feels like the Alberino
The good
thing.
old-
We were watching the documentaries
Oh,
eating pizza
That's
together.
what this
Raven had
feels like.
That's what he
great
tried to do
times.
with the pizza.
We had
You
great
captured it.
times with the Alberino movies.
I
dude.
love when they're describing, the Marines poking and prodding with long stalks of grass to try to determine where these.
Yeah, to find out if what's gonna get chopped off.
Yeah, man,
It's horrific,
it
dude.
does such a great job. It feels.
But it's like,
you know-
what are we? We're just talking about like the craziest dark acid trip.
So eventually,
Well, this is just like this is like a testimony story of. I like how it jumps in between personal testimony.
oh wait for the demon
scientific-
penis trees.
Okay,
yeah.
but wait, but this doesn't tie into any of your guys' MKUltra or
It does. And what
this
we're
story
going
does.
through right
that
now,
there's the things where you stick the thing and the limb goes off.
it seems chaotic, like it's just a bunch of random shit. Eventually, through enough of these stories, you determine what the patterns are. You go, okay, I know the elements now. I can see how the elements are appearing from one seemingly unrelated story in an unrelated time, and how it relates to these other stories that we've heard. Some of them are really subtle too. Like if you don't catch it, it just keeps moving.
That's why I'm reading along as
That's
he's
a
doing
grab
it because.
I got to do that.
Well, yeah, I sent you the transcript
Oh,
here.
that's
but
right. It's right up here.
It's good to read it because like sometimes you'll zone out a little bit, but if you have it right there, you can kind of go back and say, what did you just say right there?
You can lock into it. A really, really great story. And I didn't catch that. Panda said that this idea of using Christian Koreans, Japanese, and also civilians to create this flesh interface. Man, I'm excited. You're going to keep watching or listening to this with us? You're going to do this whole series? Because we're in now. We got 9 more hours to go.
No.
Oh,
No,
come
no,
on.
I know. I love this, but I know there's people in the chat that don't like when I come on the shows, and
He
they
does
pay,
this thing where he wants
they
you to
pay
act
for
them.
this, dude. No, it's the right thing to do, bro.
Well, Amy does say let's not make a habit of this, so I guess you're
right.
echoing
She's
the same
a paying,
sentiments.
She's
as
a
Amy.
paying customer.
All right.
Am I supposed to come on and ruin her day every time we do a show? As much as I enjoy
You
it,
ever
I'm not
let
going
a-
to do that to
You
her.
ever
I
let a
care
girl
about her.
bully you out of your space from chilling with your boys?
No, but I've seen it happen.
Yeah, the right.
I've
What's
seen
right
it
is
happen
right.
right now.
Bearing witness to it at this very moment.
Damn, this is a
Yeah,
different.
mad fishing for compliments. I know.
This is a different episode of NDS, I think, but it's fun.
I'm
This is a
having
good
so
one.
much fun.
No, I'm really not. I'm just saying that like it's not fair to people that pay if they don't genuinely enjoy. They're like, you guys are always doing your thing. And here comes this guy talking about the Bible and interrupting and go, wait, what? Like interrupting. He's not a pro podcaster. They have
Well,
a
here
right
you go.
to
Look,
say
there's
that.
a 1-to-1.
They
Yeah.
have a right to say that.
Yes,
man.
come ruin the show.
Yeah. See, Yannette is
Bon
worried
Kiki.
about your spirit. She's like, I love Matt, but it's not his thing.
Fair
so
enough.
she just no. She's
and then
saying like,
Heffalump says more Matt.
yeah, she's saying like, don't make him do it if it's
Panda
not his thing.
Fly said this shit. Indiscernible stuff.
No,
No,
that's
no,
not
I love
indiscernible
it.
stuff. That's the Matt face.
I think it's great. I just don't want to ruin it for people that don't enjoy when I come on and do the everyman view. You know,
Mama Lou. I don't even know who Mama Lou is. We love Matt.
but it's just Amy says it, and he goes, "That's too much for me."
Yeah, Amy's her opinion holds a lot of weight, though. I understand
No,
where you're
wait,
getting
I
it
didn't
from.
think that until when David's like was in such cahoots with her. I
Well,
was
look,
like,
if she says something that's true, I'm not going to ignore her.
well, I know, but her thing is that she's like
Look,
never
look.
wants me on the scene ever.
Oh my God!
And you're like,
oh my
yeah,
God.
I agree with her. So I don't want to do that to
Oh my
you
God,
either, bro.
Someone needs
needs
attention.
attention.
And then Nick G goes, "We want Matt. Matt rules. Matt,
No,
we love
Nick,
when
don't
you're
be
here."
like that. Nick says, "Fuck Amy." That's
Wow.
not. No,
Don't say
Amy
that.
crushes.
I care about Amy a lot. Who knows what her story is? She's
Amy
probably got a
cares about you in her own
wild
little way.
story. Probably, we don't
but
need
you
to
do
get
need
into
attention.
that.
Yeah.
But when the Raven also doesn't like it, then I know I've pushed too far.
Well, just
thought it
don't
was
do
too
what I
good.
don't like.
No, I think it's
Breathe.
Good.
Not like that. Not like the way you breathe. Change up the way you breathe.
You see what I'm saying? It's everything.